right. I think we did it. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Avenue Studios and Skraturdays with a Squirrel Plays. Tonight we are playing Tales from Elsewhere, CLOCKWORLD, with Peter, the man himself who created it. Real quick, let me know how sound resounds in your ears, music and everything. We did.
Thanks,
Wes.
Ian.
We did start on time, relatively. Now we'll see if everything falls apart from there. But we try. Hey, 𝓔𝓵𝓸𝓶, everyone is in the chat. As always, chat, check out the links in the description below for all the amazing people here. Of course, especially Tales from Elsewhere. Check out his YouTube channel and his website to pick up this game for yourself. And let's start with some hellos. Scrat, how are you doing tonight?
Distracted. I'm good. I was just about to post a link in my server. But yes, I'm here. I'm Scrat from Squirrel Plays. I make videos and stuff about TTRPGs.
He makes Skraturdays happen.
I make Skraturdays happen. Yeah. And this is one of, well, did I make this one happen?
Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah.
We'll go with it.
Introduced
Yeah.
us all to Peter, so you know.
I think Peter made this one happen.
Well, we'll
take
all
credit.
share the love, right? Take.
Yeah.
Speaking of sharing the love, Adam, sir, welcome back.
Well, greetings and salutations, travelers. Yep, I'm Adam. I'm from the end of Planar Crossroads. You guys probably recognize me. Don't need much of an introduction. Just, that's where I am.
Awesome. And we have somebody joining us in studio. Hi, Mush.
I've been in the studio a lot.
Yes, that's true.
Just usually behind the camera.
Mush, the one who produces, is here playing a character tonight.
Not producing.
No.
No.
Well, producing amazing acting.
Thank
and
you.
RPG
Well, that is
playing.
yet to be determined.
Real quick, before I turn it over to the man of the hour, there are ways, as always in our streams, to influence this game. I'll let Peter go over them, but it's $5, $10, $15 tiers. If we unlock the Banner Boon, that's $50 total. We unlock a Banner Boon. It is a boon tonight because most of the purchases are not good for the players. So Peter has provided us with some special artifacts that you guys will vote on, and I have that ready to go. So without further ado, Peter from Tales from Elsewhere, welcome to the channel.
Thank you so much. Thank you all, actually. All of you were really nice to me when I started hopping on content creation for the first time. So it's just the dream come true to be able to hang out with you guys. So I'm Peter. I'm creator of Tales from Elsewhere, which is a YouTube channel and a brand of action horror tabletop role-playing games. And we are here to play one such game, the CLOCKWORLD setting, a post-apocalyptic Weird West one.
Yeah! We love Weird West over here.
It's almost like there's a whole month devoted to it in chats and stuff.
Yeah. So the donation tiers,
Yes,
tier
I'm
1
excited about
is Lucky Break. You can grant one of these players luck, which they can use to re-roll things and do narrative boons for themselves. That's the only good thing they're getting from these tiers. Because tier 2 is called Watch Your Step, and if you buy that, I will add a hazard to the scene of my choosing in the way that is the most cruel possible. Maybe a player stumbles onto a bear trap, or there's some quicksand, or something else that I will conjure. The third one is called Escalation. I will either add a new threat to the scene, or I will make an existing threat more challenging. More challenging. If we do hit that total goal, though, then the players get an artifact, and an artifact is a dramatically powerful and useful thing. But you won't know what any of these do. They just have fun names, and so you'll have to go in a little blind with what their actual function will be. But all of them are good. All of them are good.
Is it good and bad? It's a matter of perspective.
I can see you're already in the right psyche for this session, right?
Right? Just waiting
So,
for Hezekiah to come in and be like,
Before we get too far along here, I did make a poll asking for people to vote on our survival odds here. So before we
Okay.
get
Oh, no.
underway, 8% said all of us will make it. Does not bode well.
Oh.
32% said most of you will make it. 36% said none of you will make it. And 24% said only one of you will make it.
That was me.
If I'm the one that makes it, it's fine. It's fine.
And I did vote in that poll. But I won't say which one I voted for.
That's so
But I
good.
will not make myself a liar. I'll tell you that.
Dang it.
All right, then. I think without further ado, let's go. Take it
All right,
away,
let's
Peter.
do it. So before we get into all the fun and the role play, I'm going to do a quick overview of some of the basics of this rule system, just as a refresher, and for those that may not be familiar. So this game is action horror. It's fairly traditional in its structure in that you're going to be rolling dice and seeing how high a number you got. This game uses the D10 and a handful of other dice, and we can use owlbear or your dice on your table, whichever one you folks have. All good to me. So there are only two types of rolls in this game. There's a skill test and there's an injury roll. Nothing else you need to worry about. A skill test handles everything, whether you're riding a horse, shooting your revolver, picking a lock, swimming across a river. All of that is a skill test. Pretty much everything you do. You roll the D10 and add the number that is your skill bonus, and that's it. And I will always tell you what number you need to hit before you roll, before you commit to doing anything. This game doesn't obfuscate numbers because the consequences for failure are usually dire in this game. If you fail to stop the charging zombie, it might take a bite out of you, as an example. So you want to be careful. On that subject, attacking something with one of your weapons is also a skill test. And how hard it is based on how far away from the target you are and where on the body you target, because this game does use called shots built in. You can go for the bulk, center mass, easiest to hit, the brim, which would be limbs, held items, a little harder to hit, and the ace, the most vulnerable part of the body, usually the head. Even harder to hit. Like I said, I'll tell you how hard these things are. I'll say, okay, that target, that beer can sitting on the fence is close to you, and trying to shoot it would be an ace, so it's going to need a 10 or higher to hit. That's how I'll phrase everything. It's pretty straightforward. When you do get hurt in this game, and it's likely that you will, or you'll hurt other people, other characters, as is the case, you do what's called an injury roll, because this game doesn't use hit points. Instead, you roll a pool of dice based on the weapon and how good you are at using that weapon, and you look for the lowest result. Just the single lowest die out of all of them. If you get a 1, that's a critical injury. If you get a 2 or a 3, it's a serious injury. And if you get a 4 or higher, it's simply strain, like a graze or a flesh wound. And that applies for both players and the foes that they meet. Now, because of this, characters can be very hurt very quickly. So it is in your best interest to avoid, for example, getting shot or, getting stabbed. It's not good. It won't deal 5 damage to you. It'll leave a serious bleeding injury to your torso that you must address or you will bleed to death. So that's kind of the structure we're going for. So I will always ask you and direct you on what to roll. You don't have to worry about having that all memorized. When we do turn-based play, you have 2 actions on your turn and 2 reactions. You can do 2 of the same action, 2 different actions, however you want to do it. And you can all do them in whatever order you want because you all have one shared turn. So I present to you a problem for you all to solve, and you all decide on how you'd like to help each other and coordinate and solve that round's problem, basically. Some things are going to be really hard for a single character to accomplish, in which case you should work together, get some tools, try to figure something out, as it will make the number you need to beat easier. And that's the basic structure of the game. When you're getting attacked, you can use reactions like take cover from gunfire, try to block or dodge something. And once again, I'll just let you know what you can use when, a wolf tries to bite your leg. I'll say you can try to dodge this if you want. You can just look on your sheet. It'll have a little bonus next to dodge. Roll a d10, add that. That's what you got to do. So pretty mathematically simple. There's not much arithmetic burden in this game. And all of you have special characters with special abilities on the backs of your sheets. And if at any time you get a little confused about how that works, just let me know. I'm happy to unpack it, as it's the shorthand version on the back of everybody's character sheet. But they're all pretty straightforward at the end of the day. Any questions from you folks before we hop in to the world?
I don't think so.
All right.
Right now,
And feel free to
probably-
ask as we go, or we're just going to roll with it. So we've
But
got some, yeah. I need a soundboard, right, of whips and cattle running or something.
Yeah.
So I'd like to introduce the setting in character, and we have a set of dialogues that I've sent to everybody. So if Hezekiah, Reverend Hezekiah Pace, would read his dialogue for me, please.
And the question is, what is elsewhere? Elsewhere ain't something that you know. It's something that you feel. You feel it down in the pit of your belly when you stare up into the starless night. When you close your eyes in the small hours and the dark thoughts come crawling in. That's elsewhere whispering to you. It's what your sins feed and where your nightmares are born. It's that feeling of being watched as you walk through the woods, and when you're standing on the edge of a cliff and something tells you just one more step. Scripture calls it hell. Some so-called learned folk say it's another dimension, or some sort of psychic such and such. Don't fret now about what you call it. Don't plow your mind to contemplate and comprehending it, as it'll start to comprehend you. Any that ruminate on it for too long gamble with more than their sanity, but their very sacred soul. All you really need, Ken, is that elsewhere ain't friendly, and it ain't from round here.
Excellent delivery.
Amazing.
So now, would Lady Jane please do her dialogue?
All right.
You're gonna do great.
Oh, the wonders they built. From the steam engine to the flying machine to the thinking robot. Every time my caravan goes scavenging into the ruination, I imagine what their cities would have looked like. Towering over me. 100 feet tall. Shining in the noonday sun. It was the end of the 19th century, so the records say. And we apparently are in the west of this land, though all I've ever seen east or west is nothing but carnage. From what we can tell, they had reached the peak of civilization. People had all the food they could have ever wanted. There weren't no killing monsters lurking around every bend, and land alive, the engines they built. We still aren't sure what truly keeps them running, but some of them generators burn like 1,000 coal fires. Like they captured their own little star and trapped it in a box. And they don't seem to ever quit. I suppose the only thing they couldn't do was save their own selves, really, in the end.
Love it. And now would mine fill us in on how it ended.
Let's see. I can sometimes see how it all ended, understand? In my dreams. I see a big clock tower ticking toward midnight. I see flags and such with the number 1889 on them. I can sort of see faces. They're happy, smiling and laughing. Then something changes, and it's like bottom of a rusty bucket finally quitting and all that water comes dumping out. Except it ain't water. It's darkness. No, not darkness. A light made of darkness, if that makes sense. It's swallowing everything, destroying everything, changing everything. I see mountains shaking like a 3-wheeled wagon, oceans boiling like a pot of beans, and 100 twisters spitting their way across the plains like tumbleweeds. I see them watching me. I don't know what they are, but I can feel their thirst, their hunger. Come closer, I hear them say, then I wake up.
Very good, very good. All right, and now Mudo, would you tell us what it's like now?
That's me. And I was talking with Peter beforehand, so this guy's a soft-spoken individual, and I'm already Southern, so I'm just permanently locked in character. I don't even have to do anything.
Not fair.
So anyway, what is it like now? Been more than 100 years since then, I reckon. We survivors have rebuilt us a semblance of society. We were able to save some towns, but mostly we've rebuilt what we can. We've organized them in the counties, running all the way from the Oskaloosa Range up north down to 𝓷𝓆𝓆𝓆 Gulf in the south, following the mighty Chesapeake River. Outside that is the ruination, endless miles of twisted bosques, scorched playas, and dark montañas filled with all manner of unwholesome creatures, just like Alabama. I don't have a head for it, but our tinkerers have salvaged and reconfigured some of them old wonders from before the calamity. We got labor bots, cybernetic limbs to replace those lost and all too common mining and threshing accidents, and even some old iron roosters burning coal to run those rickety tracks between our settlements. You'll want to arm yourself with the proper implements like coach guns, lever rifles, and revolvers. If you can afford a mutation-free horse, it is hard to beat as a means of conveyance. Heck, we even got ourselves currency, coins, and paper money to make trade. Though I rarely see them, I know they've got running water and banks in those big cities like Chesapeake and Livingston. Them city folk rest easy each night, but none are rightly safe from the horrors out there beyond the walls. That's what keeps folks like me gainfully employed.
Perfect. And you're
So
right.
chipper
You're
for this,
easygoing
this
southern
ruined area.
Yeah.
So that
The
brings
part
us
about
to-
Alabama wasn't actually in there.
All right, so that brings us to today's adventure. Now, as the poster shows on the screen, settlers are wanted. They have found a pre-calamity ruin out there in the ruination, and they want to reclaim it. They want to take back some of civilization. So they've mustered together as many people as they can, settlers and folks willing to work security, people trying to start a business, people just trying to get away, and they're heading out on a big old caravan. So it's a fresh, cold morning on the second day since you've left Fort Sangravita, and time for a scene transition.
Map.
Yeah. So it's a fresh, cold morning on the second day since you all left Fort Sangravita on this mad venture. You and a few dozen folk from all walks are heading out into the ruination to settle this new town. The column of tattered wagons, makeshift coaches, and 30 head of mutation-free beef are led by the legendary Marshall McCready herself. We've got a picture here. So as they head to this pre-calamity ruin that was scouted by frontiers folk working for Governor Abernathy in Langstrom City. And you're traveling with one such frontier folk. Her name is 𝓲𝓆𝓆. So we have Marshall McCready and 𝓲𝓆𝓆. The caravan is mustering for the day, repacking supplies, saddling horses, and bustling with all manner of chaos. Today will be the day that you cross 𝓲𝓆𝓵 River and enter the ruination proper. All manner of folk are setting about their morning chores. So you are just before this little river here on the map. All right, I'm going to show an NPC picture, and you all say which one you'd like to talk to. Each of you can take one. And there will be more than all of you. You can choose who you want to go talk to before you head out into the ruination. And those two are standing together. So you see all sorts of people gathering up and deciding, or packing up their wagons, loading it with all what they need. And I'm going to put down your tokens, and you just put your token next to the one you'd like to go talk to. We'll make that a little bigger. There's mine. Here's Ludo. Okay. And last but not least, Reverend Hezekiah Pace. So you all just pick what you're going to do, and then I'll resolve each of them. These are little vignettes to get you warmed up. All right. We're going to start up here with mine. All right, mine. You go over and you see a wiry and jittery man in his mid-50s wearing a jacket and tie who's mumbling to himself as he rummages frantically through a wagon full of vials, potions, and unidentifiable chemical supplies. You hear him mumble, no, I'm sure I brought more. I must have brought more. And you recognize him as the caravan's physician, a Dr. Duquesne. He seems to have lost something. What do you do as you approach his wagon?
I just said, you okay, Doc?
He says, he kind of looks at you and is startled a little bit, as mine is easily 6'6" and just a mountain of a miner, as you can see. Name is apropos. And he says, you know, I get these migraines, and I was sure I brought an extra case of laudanum with me, and I can't seem to find it. Would you mind helping me track that down? And he's wiping a sweaty brow with a handkerchief oh, here we go. Here's a prop. He's wiping his sweaty brow. I know I brought one with me. I just, this journey will be so painful if I don't have my medicine, you know? Yeah. Would you like to help him?
Of course.
All right, please make a acuity test. So you roll the d10 and add your acuity bonus to try to help him rummage through and find his spare laudanum.
Oh, it's been a while too. Plus right here, yeah. No, that's disadvantage. Here we go. Boom, boom. I got a +2, so here we go.
And you're looking for an 8 or higher.
I got a 10
Crushed
total.
It.
Yeah.
And now, forgot to mention this at the start, you each have 1 luck. Luck you can use, you start with 1. You can re-roll any die roll, any injury roll, skill test after I've told you the result. You can re-roll it with all the normal modifiers you'd have. And you get those back by leaning into the horror and injuries that you have. So you get more of them by, instead of fighting back in a scene, running away and hiding and acting terrified, or laying on the ground and screaming in pain as from a bullet wound in your leg. Basically do something that adds to the horror of it, and you get luck. And this is a player-facing system. You can do this whenever you want, make the scene worse for you, and you get luck.
Okay.
Because luck is used to make the scene easier for you. So push and pull there. So you all have 1 right now to start with.
Okay.
So you crush it. You do help him find it. He immediately opens the crate, pulls out a little, a little dark brown vial, and takes a little swig from it. And he says, "Oh, I feel better already." Whew. He starts fanning himself off. These migraines, I swear, the only thing that makes them subside is this laudanum. I really appreciate it, sir. You can have something from my cart. Would you please roll me a D percentile to see what random consumable he has for you? So D100, please.
Sorry. Well done. Clear. Try again. I didn't realize it did.
Albert Road is a little finicky sometimes. 3. Wow.
That's how I do it.
So he says, you know, I had this. He pulls out a little vial. He says, I can't make this myself, but I did end up finding it. It's very rare. And he hands it to you. It's actually a little vial of anointing oil. So it's a holy oil that you can use on a weapon, and it helps it fight the horrors that are out there, undead and horrors and monsters. It makes it more effective against them temporarily. So it lets you, without being a priest yourself, it's pre-blessed. That's another way to put it.
Nice.
It lets you anoint a weapon, a firearm, a knife, whatever you want, and it will temporarily be more effective against monsters. So he gives you one of those for your troubles, because you can't drink that. He says, don't drink that, by the way.
Can I drink? I look like I'm some kind of steampunk droid.
So you are a clockwork person, and so is Mudo. But you actually still can eat and drink things. You're not man-made. You are from pre-calamity times. No one knows how these constructs were built. Nobody can replicate them, but you're people. You're people just like everybody else. You have emotions and, all the things that go into people. But you are a product of something otherworldly. But yeah, you can drink stuff.
Well, thank you, Doc. I'll definitely be careful with that. I don't know if you know.
So it's an action to apply it to something.
Cool.
But lasts a while. All right, going clockwise from there, we have Reverend Hezekiah Pace. So let's see here. You see, none of these characters are strangers to you. You see Brother Elam. He's a fair young man in his early 20s, and he's delivering a quiet sermon to a small flock of devotees that are traveling with him in this new town. He's planning on building a church there. He said, you catch the end of his speech. He says, "And we shall each of us be tested in our own way. A spade will not pierce the earth until its metal has been hardened and its edge made sharp." And as his speech ends, the somber crowd fold their hands tightly in prayer and bow their heads, and then disperse. And as you approach, he looks at you with his crystal blue eyes and he says, "What blessings do you bring on this journey, my brother?" He asks. How do you respond?
I don't bring blessings, just curses.
He says, "Oh my, well, hopefully we won't have a need for such things on this journey, though I know it will be fraught with peril. As long as those curses are directed elsewhere," he says, joking, like laughing nervously to himself.
Hezekiah didn't smile.
He doesn't smile back. So, totally fine. He says, "Will you, he says, that's all well and good, sir, but I hope that you will at least join me for a short prayer." And he just folds his hands quietly. Do you join him or walk away?
Hezekiah is, well, is it Church of Ash?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Is it Church of Ash?
Yeah, Brother Elam is part of the Church of Ashes himself.
Okay, well,
he's not a reverend, you can tell, like he's not quite of that rank. But yeah, he is of the same flock technically that you are.
Okay. So he would join him then. He's dour and old,
yeah,
but he's not undevout.
Gotcha. It's a mood, dour and old, I feel it. So because you do join him, you gain 1 extra luck right now. That is your reward. No skill test required. All right, Lady Jane, you see a pair of women who you recognize from the caravan. You see a pair of women, and they're loading a heavily armored wagon with large reinforced boxes that were unpacked during the night for ease of access. One of the pair is a young woman with messy clothes, but with dark, immaculate hair that you recognize as 𝓲𝓻𝓸𝓶, the gunsmith traveling on this journey with the caravan. And the other is a tall, broad, middle-aged woman with arms like hewn tree trunks. You know that she is 𝓤𝓵𝓆𝓵𝓆𝓵, and she's there to open a saloon in the new town. Now, the two of them are loading crates, and you can tell Olivia is doing the lion's share of the lifting, as she looks quite strong. But Sue, as she goes by, is attempting to lift a crate herself, and she is about to teeter over and fall. What do you do?
Well, I'll head over to help her, like, kind of, hey there, let me,
Try to catch her?
just like, yeah, or, like, under the box to
Gotcha.
her or the box, yeah.
I like it. So would you roll for me a might test? So roll a d10 and add your might bonus, and it is an 8 or higher you're trying to get.
Gotcha.
All right, I got +0. I'm a layman with my might, but
You got noodle arms on her.
yep.
7 total.
Well,
So close. You needed an 8 or more.
Yep.
So you run up, you try to help Sue with the crate, but both of you go tumbling back, and you see in that crate were several sticks of dynamite, and they go rolling down, clattering, and the caravan all sort of stops for a moment and looks at the dynamite rolling, and nothing explodes. But everybody got real nervous there for a
me
moment.
too.
I was gonna see if somebody wanted to add somebody add a hazard. This would be a great time. So, sadly, they have to spend a few minutes packing up some of that dynamite. Some of it
Carefully.
they judge has been damaged and is too dangerous to repack. So they're gonna have to leave a little dynamite behind, because once the seal is compromised on that TNT, it starts getting real dangerous to store in a crate full of firearms and other explosives. But for attempting to help, Sue's really thankful. She says, "Hey, I appreciate it. You know, neither of us just have the strength of arms here, but what I do have is a strength of arms." And she gestures toward her wagon. He says, "You know, if you ever need something, I got your back. You just whistle for me." And she opens up a crate, and you can see she has a buffalo rifle. She says, "I'll get your back for helping. You got my back. I'll hopefully be a little bit more successful than you were at helping me carry a crate, though." And
Yeah,
it looks like
Lady
a
Jane,
nice...
Yeah, she's definitely interested.
Yeah,
As a
it's a
tinkerer,
nice
she's like-
rifle. It's engraved.
Yeah.
You know, it's beautifully built, and it looks like it is a serious weapon that she has there. So she's willing to back you up with it in a pinch.
Awesome.
Oh, I see.
We got our first luck.
Our first luck, and it goes to Scrat.
Yes, thank you,
So Scrat,
Grimwood
you can have up to
Games.
3 luck at a time. Grimwood Games is nice. All right, last and certainly not least would be Mudo, played by Scrat. So Mudo, you
Well,
picked
can
a great
I
one.
can I approach him with a question?
Absolutely.
Okay, Because he's the only one smiling in this riggedy bunch of people. So I want to know what's in his pot, because he's the only one that ain't frowning wider than the Chesapeake River or whatever it's called. So
Yeah.
I was just going to ask him, say, what you got in the pot there, cuz?
He says, well, now, son, we can get to that in a moment. I'm always cooking something up. This here's just leftovers from this morning. I like to take all the bones, you see, and you stew the bones for a good long while, and you get all the good marrow out. Make a nice stew, he says. And you recognize this man as Old Cookie, the camp cook, who's traveling. He has a chuck wagon, complete with all sorts of food and pots and pans. And Old Cookie here stands a robust 5'2". He's a squat little guy, and he is spry, though, as the day is young. You see that he always has lots of energy to him and a big grin on his face. But he actually is holding his hat in his hand, and you can see that he's looking up at a nearby leafless tree. Looks like his tarp that covers the chuck wagon has blown free in the night and is stuck up there about 20 feet up in this big old leafless tree. And he says, say, youngin', you've got good knees on you, don't you? Because if we don't get that tarp down, all this food's going to spoil in the sun. And you don't want to see what people do when they don't have food on a long journey like this. Let me tell you, I've seen people eat all sorts of things, like belts and horses and other things. So would you be a good lad and climb up there and get me my tarp down? He said.
Could shoot the thing down, just all the limbs.
If you want to try to shoot the limbs down, I think that's really cool.
There and get it.
You are a gunslinger. Or you can try to climb up there. Both are cool. Tell you what, it's going to be easier to climb, but you're better at shooting. I'll make that deal with you. If you shoot, it's a little harder. And if you climb, it's a little easier, but obviously if you fail to climb that, there might be consequences. There's my bargain to you. For this
I'm gonna try and shoot. I'll tell him. I'll say, look, you give me the first bowl of stew if I can shoot that from here. So.
He says that's the deal. Just don't put any holes in the tarp now, okay? That kind of defeats the purpose.
Wasn't part of the deal. Here we go.
Okay. So he steps back and he does this. All right, go ahead and make a ranged test using range, or it might say marksmanship on your sheet. I forget if these are old copies. So you're going to need to make an extraordinary shot. So a 12 or higher. You're pretty good at this, though. Like,
I do have a +6.
Yeah, Ludo is a crack shot with his 6-shooter. So
that's a D10, right?
Yep, D10, and add 6 to that. And if you get a 12 or higher, you succeed. Otherwise, something bad might happen. Not to you.
Do I need to quick draw?
No, none of your none of your edges here would really matter.
Ooh, just
exactly what you needed. No luck required.
Now, what was the luck thing you said earlier? Grimwood Games give me. Do I have 2 luck now? Or?
I have 2 luck now. Okay. I just saw hazard pop up in the chat, though.
It did indeed.
So, there's a hazard called. Thank you. I don't know how to say that. 𝓉𝓵𝓵𝓵.
𝓉𝓵𝓵.
Thank you, 𝓉𝓵𝓵, because there's a hazard in this game called falling debris, which sounds perfect for this situation. So, Mudo, and you do shoot those branches all down for Old Cookie here, but what you didn't calculate was that you also brought all those branches down on you, and some of them are quite big. So, I am going to roll. You can try to take cover to dive out of the way. So you'd roll a d10 and add your take cover reactions bonus. And I'm going to roll against you from the hazard.
I got the +4.
While he's doing
All right,
that,
so go ahead and roll the d10 and add 4, and then I will roll. And this is we'll make these kind of deadly. We'll make them master hazards. So I'm going to roll against you now, so you gets higher.
I couldn't remember if we could see other people's dice rolls. Ooh, nice.
It pops up briefly, so I got a total of 14. So you're going to get hit. Now, I'm going to roll a d6 to see where this lands on your body because I like the randomness of it. You got lucky.
Okay, guys, Peter's rolling really hot.
So in this case, high is worse. With injuries, you want low numbers.
Okay.
So this one lands on your chest rather than your head or a limb. So it falls and it seriously injures you. It falls and knocks you to the ground, and on your injury tracker, under one of the serious boxes, please write big old bruise on your chest, however you'd like to do that. There's going to be no weird complications with this. It's just going to fill in one of your boxes. Knocks the wind out of you. Yep, serious. So it's not going to have any weird complications. I'm not going to be that cruel quite yet. So you don't have to worry about treating the injury. It just, you're going to have a big old band of bruises all across your chest. All the metallic surface that you have is all dented and marked up now. But Cookie, the tarp falls luxuriously down right into old Cookie's hands. And he says, well, thanks, son. And he starts attaching it to his wagon. He says, you want that stew now or later? No, thanks. I'm good. He says, well, you just come all around old Cookie if you ever need to. And he says, if you ever do need help out there, because you did me a turn and seem to have suffered slightly. And he pulls from a little hatch underneath his wagon a sawn-off coach gun. He says, I'll watch out for you if you need it. And he checks the load on it, and it looks old. Like, this coach gun might be 40, 50 years old easily. It looks old. And it looks like it has been well used over the years as well. So he says, you just give me a holler and I'll come over. Old Cookie knows how to rustle up grub and take down critters in turn. That's what I'm talking about, brother.
Hezekiah had strode over really quick when he heard guns going off, and he was like, dum, 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 and then he just sees him getting up after, it was like,
yeah,
just shakes his head.
Tree branch.
Walks
yeah,
back
just a tree branch.
Why'd you shoot a tree? He says to himself. Why'd you shoot a tree?
It's a mighty odd thing to do, indeed. Yeah, no, old Cookie says, I just wanted to climb up there and grab it, but he liked his little 6-shooter. So, all right. The wagon train is all mustered and ready to go, and it starts heading out for the day. Because today you cross 𝓵𝓵𝓵 River. Scene transition.
All right.
Groove into this music.
Yeah, dude.
Okay. So there's a number of people in the wagon. Don't worry too much about the visuals quite yet. I'm going to read you a little box text, and then you can place yourselves wherever you like. The mighty 𝓵𝓵𝓵 River flows before you, but unlike what you've heard about the westernmost barrier of 𝓵𝓵𝓵 County, this seems little more than a creek. You hear 𝓵𝓵𝓵, your scout, say, first thing we done is dam up the river about a mile northwise. Should be easy crossing now. And she gestures toward the rocks up here as, past the waterfalls. She says, eventually we'll get a bridge up here by the by. And MacCready, the marshal, says, how deep is the river now, kid? And 𝓵𝓵𝓵 says, no more than a foot or two, ma'am. And as they're talking, they bring their horses down to the edge of what was the mighty 𝓵𝓵𝓵 River. Now, there's an odd odor to the slow-moving waters, a hint of stagnation, of a fetid smell that you can't quite place. A few of the horses stop to smell the water, but they don't drink. There's a moment of hesitation among the travelers. Then MacCready wrinkles her nose and then spits some of her chewing tobacco down into the dirt and says, all right, don't fret none, y'all. Just a funky old river that's been dammed up. Let's get everyone across quick as a whip. I want to be within spitting distance of them mountains by nightfall. So the wagon trains start to trundle into the water with people leading their apprehensive horses on foot. And now I'd like all of you to place yourselves where you'd like to be in the wagon train. And your little character should be right up here. And you can go ahead and move yourselves or let me know where you'd like to be moved. Everybody's in mid-crossing at this point in various stages of crossing, with MacCready and 𝓵𝓵𝓵 having gone across first. Keep old Cookie safe at all costs, I just saw.
Yeah.
I was
Hey, that's
make a
why
comment.
Hezekiah-
The river smells like cookie stew.
Cookie stew.
I'm trying to think, where would a gunman be in a old western convoy
So,
like this?
you are an itinerant lawman, and so you are responsible for keeping this wagon train safe, right? You do probably even work for MacCready. She's a legendary marshal herself. So you could try to be up front. You could be really wherever you want. It's just a river, right? What could go wrong?
Well, I was trying to think, should I be in the back of the front, keeping the convoy safe? I'll be in the back.
And now each of you have a few knowledges written on your sheet. These aren't things you have to roll. It's things you just know. If you're an expert in something, you know everything there is to know about it, basically. And if you're familiar with something, you can carry on a conversation and know the basics. Like, for example, I believe Reverend Hezekiah Pace is an expert on the unholy.
Yes.
correctly. So that's while Mudo is an expert on, I think, criminals.
I think that's what I remember
So
saying.
you know, all the major players in crime, so on and so forth. Mine is an expert on mining.
Mining. I know, it's a shocker.
Yeah, real shocker. And I think Lady Jane might be an expert on wondrous technology.
That sounds right.
Sounds about right. So if at any time you want, you can say like, hey, do I know about this because of my knowledge? You can just ask. And generally speaking, I'll say yes. It's very a permissive system.
Nice.
All right. Everybody happy with where they are? We're all good?
Yeah.
You guys hanging out near Pat Spreen and all of his cattle, I see. It's a good choice.
Mine's kind of helping people get across. I figure he's the big boy.
Gotcha. So you're kind of standing, and as people come across, you're kind of guiding them.
Yep. Or
Sounds
if the
good.
horses are being, difficult.
Yeah, a lot of the horses are fairly skittish, as horses are very skittish animals. And yeah, the river has got them a little spooked.
Does this
And-
smell remind of undead, or does it have a specific smell of the fetid smell being undead, or is it more sulfurish or like
Gotcha. Good question.
other things?
So you kind of like walk to the riverbank and take like a whiff basically and try to place it.
You take a whiff, stick it in your mouth, spit it out, see what you get.
Sure. So you go up there, and with your knowledge, you're an expert on this. There's a smell of undeath to this river, like something's dead, or at least the smell of death. Like something upriver is rotten, right? Like the river is contaminated. So definitely don't drink it. You would urge others. It does read to you a little of the unholy. But it's weak. It's not a super strong, like it's not like the river itself is like cursed. It's like there's just a whiff of something coming down river.
All right. I'd not be best to get past the river as quick as we could. He'd move up here.
Okay.
There's something nasty upstream.
Okay.
Something unnatural upstream.
I dig it. So, as you start to warn them and walk there, suddenly, as all good things in tabletop role-playing games are sudden, about half the wagons are full, as there are more wagons than are displayed here, of course, right? This is a large caravan. With McCready and 𝓲𝓚 waiting on the far bank, you hear a small crash and an agonized cry. A wagon in the middle of the river is off kilter, stopped at an odd angle. Someone is prone in the shallow water, crying out, their leg trapped under a twisted wagon wheel. So mine, as you were helping people across, you turned and you were talking to Reverend for just a moment, and Dr. 𝓍𝓻𝓐's wagon, who he was walking alongside of, hit a rut in the river and came down on his ankle. So Dr. 𝓍𝓻𝓐, I'm just going to move you slightly.
Yep.
Gonna need more of that laudanum.
Yeah, he's prone in the river, and he cries out. He goes, "Oh, my leg! Good thing we found all that laudanum earlier." He cries out.
Hey, hang on, Doc. Hey.
So he is in the river is shallow. It's only a foot or so deep, and so it's not like he's dunked, but he's laying there, getting all wet, and the wagon has come to a full stop. The wheel is stuck now in whatever this rut was in the river. We're going to enter now turn-based play. We've got a problem to solve. Poor Dr. 𝓍𝓻𝓐 is pinned underneath a wagon. So this works a little bit like a 4th edition D&D skill challenge. You need to try to get some successes here as a group, and once you get enough successes, you free Dr. 𝓍𝓻𝓐. Whenever you fail a check, something bad will happen. You have to make a 12 or higher to succeed on any given check here, so it's hard.
Ooh, okay.
And failing could make things worse. But working together, using tools, all of this can help make it a little easier. So we're going to start now with the player turn. What do you all do? This is in whatever order you want. You can talk amongst yourselves to come up with a plan and then execute.
So you remember how I shot that branch?
Yeah.
Can I shoot a leg from here?
I mean, you
No,
could,
I'm not gonna shoot
you
his
could hit
leg.
the leg. I'm just saying, you certainly could get that shot.
I ain't gonna do that. That's terrible.
Wait, I can push the wagon. Clarification: did something fall on the dock, or is he just fallen out?
No, the wheel came down
It
because he
did.
was walking alongside it. He was leading, and it came down on his ankle. So you can tell his ankle's broke. He's
Okay.
pinned by the wagon, and there's a little bit of blood flowing downstream now from it.
So, for you guys, I think instinctually mine would be trying to lift the wagon. He's going to be trying to use might to lift the wagon and shouting for somebody. Somebody come pull the doc out. He's got a bad hit on his ankle. So
Lift him out would be good.
Are we able to move that distance and help? Or?
Yeah, so we're going to use, don't worry about the grid. So you each have 2 actions, and you can move a short distance. You can move close range, which is like from the side of the river down to the middle of the river. Okay. The river isn't like really an obstacle. You can just wade through it. It's only about a foot deep. So everybody is 1 action at most away from Dr. Duquesne.
Night Grimwood.
Is athletics or might what you would use to lift stuff?
That would be might. Athletics, you move yourself. Might, you move other things.
That's okay. I got nothing for might.
I got might. I got it.
You can always help somebody, even if you're not good at it.
I can pull the guy out. I got athletics. I can run over there fast.
Assist another player, you reduce the difficulty for that player's role.
All right.
Even if you're not good at it yourself. Working together is an option. Okay, so you can use 1 action, move on over there.
Clockwork
I'll
Boys.
rush over there and help.
The Robo Boys. So looks like, go ahead there, Reverend Base.
Everybody more than one person can help one person, right?
Yeah, in this case, it makes perfect sense, right? You can all help lift the wagon. Okay. And, a group of people couldn't help pick a lock. But lift a wagon? Absolutely. Okay.
How about you, my
Well,
lady?
then... yeah, Lady Jane I was looking at, like, her dexterity. But to pull him out is kind of what I was thinking. Like, pull him away, out and away from the wagon.
Sure. So pulling him free would also be might.
Okay.
As an example. But if there's other approaches, the wagon, you could try to dismantle the wagon wheel, but then you couldn't get the wagon out. And the wagon has all the medicine for its journey. So, but sounds like everybody just wants to help mine with this first one, right? That's kind of the plan. Do it safely. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Okay, well, mine,
so.
with 3 people helping you, this goes from a 12 or higher to a 6 or higher.
All right.
And I'd like you to roll might.
That sounds good.
If I remember correctly, your might bonus is 6.
It's 6. So.
You can't fail this. A natural 1 does not fail.
Okay.
So with everybody's help, might is able to start lifting
That's
the wagon,
fine.
and you get 1 successful test. No drawback happens. And he's getting close to being free. And he's like, he looks up at mine. He said, I cannot thank you enough. And he has his now drenched handkerchief. And he sips a little laudanum to dull the pain. It is really rough if you don't find his laudanum. Yeah. He's tapping into his own supply a little heavily. So now we move to the threat turn because all the players are done. Once again, suddenly, there's a deafening boom that echoes throughout the canyon. Upriver, maybe a half mile, you see a huge cloud of dust rise into the air. After the echo's reverberations begin to die down, you see a little surge of this brackish water come flowing downriver, down the waterfall, and immediately raising the water level several inches. And the doctor looks down, and he looks up at all of you with fear in his eyes as the water is starting to raise on him. And you see a plume of smoke. At that same time, the crack of a gunshot echoes immediately afterward, and in the river, a little splash of water appears. Upon the ridgeline and out of the trees all around you, several figures wearing blue bandanas start to emerge, guns drawn.
No. Oh, snap.
You hear a woman's voice call out from the waterfall, and her voice drips with a rattlesnake venom and a coyote's wit. And Mudo, you recognize this voice. You hear her say, "Abandon your wagons and crawl back to 𝓔𝓵𝓼𝓵, Chiquito, so you can live to see another sunset." And you recognize that as Salamanca, a notorious member of the 100 Blue, the ubiquitous bandit organization that always is waylaying wagons. And, I just saw 1 luck for all players.
Oh
so
my goodness, Sextania. Thank
you guys really want them to live. What is wrong with this audience? So you recognize this as a notorious outlaw. There is a huge bounty on Salamanca's head. And now the 100 Blue are bandits. They aren't necessarily murderers, right? If you give them what they want, they tend to let people go. But they are thieves and scoundrels, all of them. And she's asking all of you to crawl back to the fort and leave all of the goods and cattle and supplies behind. Now, Marshal McCready looks at you, Mudo, and you can see her hand is starting to go toward her revolver, and she looks at you to see what you make eye contact with her. What do you non-verbally say to her?
Oh, I had the best comeback for the bandit.
Yeah, go ahead and do that first.
Okay. So I will assure the crowd, don't worry, I speak Spanish. And I will look at the bandito up there and say, no.
So McCready agrees with you. So the bandits open fire on the group. Now, they don't go necessarily for innocent people. They're looking for people who look armed. So I'm going to roll a few shots here. And if I target you, you can try to react with one of your 2 reactions by taking cover. That's what you would do against gunfire. Most of you are near something that could give you cover, like a wagon. You're all together in the middle of the river. So a few of them fire at McCready over here, and I'm going to roll for each of them. I'm sorry,
did we get the dude out from the wheel, or were we in the process of lifting?
You have one success. You need 2 more to get him free.
All right.
So some fire goes toward McCready. One of those rolls was pretty good, but she's quicker. So some fire goes and starts hitting the wooden side of her wagon, and she dives into the back where Vilda is already taking cover, and she draws her revolver and ducks down at the gunfire from these bandits. These 2 don't see anybody armed down here, but they start walking toward old Cookie, guns out. No. They say, pull them reins, old man. Let me see them. Let me see them hands. They say, what you got in there? Food? And they look real excited at all his delicious food. And you can kind of smell it too. It's delicious. So they start going to try to harass old Cookie. The ones back here draw their guns and aim them down at Pat Spreen, the cattleman, who is on his horse, because he has a rifle on his back. And they say, don't even think about it. These 2 in the back come down toward the wagon that is shared by both the saloon owner and our gunsmith, guns drawn as well, branching at him, because they also don't appear to be armed. But you see Sue look over at Lady Jane, and she looks down at her rifle case, gives you a wink. Salamanca herself is going to take a shot at Mudo, because she recognizes you.
Oh, snap. She
pulls out a rifle. She has a lever action rifle, cocks it, and says, Mudo? Was that you?
No.
Mudo. We can't keep meeting like this, and tries to shoot you. She takes careful aim first, too. She's going all in on this shot by using both of her actions for a single shot, which you can do. If you use both your actions to do one thing, you high roll it like advantage. Now, you can try to take cover from this by rolling an athletics or reflexes skill test. And she's just aiming, she's going for one of your legs.
It was just one night, woman. Jeez.
Okay, I got a total of 11. So go ahead and roll a d10 and add your either athletics or reflexes, whatever it says in your take cover reaction. Higher.
Let's see. Take cover. Where is it?
If you use both of your reactions for one thing, you high roll it. You roll with advantage. But then you're out of reactions until your turn comes back.
So take cover says athletics or reflexes? Is that how?
And whichever's higher of the 2. It should already be factored in on your sheet.
Okay, yeah. It's the +4. Okay.
You're pretty good.
D10.
Not enough. Now you have 3 luck.
I got 3
because the fans want you to live. So if you want to re-roll, you can.
I'll burn one. What the heck?
You can keep burning as much luck as you want to keep re-rolling until you get it.
I'll burn.
And just a reminder, if you use both of your never mind. Got it. Luckily, Mudo was quick on his feet. He was about to take a bullet to the knee, and he dives for cover behind the wagon, and it harmlessly hits the side of the wagon.
Hezekiah grunts as people let go.
Sorry, man, I'm getting shot at.
And the last bandit up on the ridge, it's a pretty far shot for him. He's actually going to try to... you see him, he just levels his revolver and looks like he's just ready to shoot anybody that tries to come up and attack his boss. but he doesn't take a shot yet. We're now back to the player turn. The problems have compounded. The river is filling up. Dr. 𝓷𝓐𝓐 is still pinned. And now bandits are attacking the caravan. What's the plan?
I got this, y'all. I got this. Doc, as soon as you can wiggle out, you gotta move.
Hezekiah is still helping mine get him out because he's the doctor. He may be laudanum-addled and all that, but he's the doctor.
Yep. And just a reminder, if you just use one action to assist, you could do something else with your next action, right? You have 2 actions. You can do them in whatever order. So, for example, Reverend could help with 1 action, then mine try to lift, and all goes well. Maybe the Reverend does something else afterward, right? You can do this in whatever order works for the players. Okay. Or mine could just do it with no help because he's that strong.
I'm gonna put both my actions into it and just focus on that.
Okay, so you want to do 1 high rolled action or 2 you want to try twice? You could try both. Both are options. Because you could do 2. If you get 2 successes, you get Dr. 𝓷𝓐𝓐 free. However, you get those 2 more successes.
I see.
But
And we're
if
still
you fail,
at 12.
something
Right?
goes wrong.
Yeah.
Pace.
It is with Reverend helping, you're at a 10.
Okay.
Each person's reducing that number by 2.
Okay. I'll do a high roll then.
All right, going all in.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll 2d10, take the higher, add your might bonus with Reverend helping out.
Lady Jane not helping too, or?
Oh yeah, do you want to hop in, Jane? Do anything?
Well, I was kind of thinking here. I have a laser eye,
You do.
apparently, and
You have a cybernetic eye.
I do. And if I use both of my actions to have focused, the cybernetic eye would filter out the distractions there.
Mhm.
So I was thinking maybe I'd take a shot at the boss woman.
I like it.
Whew.
So.
Made it with advantage.
So looks like we'll resolve that first. So with that, yeah, you needed that high roll. So
Yep.
you got a total of 12. You're now at 2 of 3 successes. You've almost got the doctor free. Just 1 more push is all it would need. So we'll now do what Lady Jane wants to do. So Lady Jane, looking where you are, your eye is a close range weapon only. I think
Okay,
you're a little
that's
too
what I was-
far away to make that shot. 'Cause she's up on a waterfall.
That's what I was wondering, was kind of my question.
Yeah, it's a close range is about 30 feet away. So
Okay.
pretty close, and she's up on the waterfall, so a little out of range of your eyeball.
Okay.
Hi, Joe. I see you in chat.
Is it something I got to do though right now?
So you could also move if you wanted to move closer. You could then take a shot, but you wouldn't be able to also filter out the distractions right on the same turn and shoot. That'd be 3 things. But that filtering out distractions lasts until the end of your next turn. It does
Yeah.
last a little while.
Yes.
Got some choices.
Yeah.
You could do that and move into position.
Yeah, I was thinking I was wanting to move back to the Sue and Olivia, right? Yeah.
I should say Sue here. Yeah, and you also have the your jury rig ability that is open to your imagination. I'm very
Right.
permissive with the use of this edge.
Well,
Wherever you
'cause,
think that.
I was kind of thinking that Lady Jane would be scoping, kind of following the back of the
Mhm.
this wagon train here, just kind of looking like, did anyone drop anything? What can I gather up as I go? And
Yeah.
then maybe try and craft something, because I do also have the craftsmanship skill there. But
Jury
Yeah.
rigging a scuba tank.
so, you're right. At
Right,
this
and
point,
so the way that works is you just make whatever you want, really, and it only lasts a very short time unless you expend 1 luck, and then it's something grand.
right?
So it's really whatever, and you don't have to have any items in your sheet that say like you have the parts or something. You just make it up.
Oh boy.
I
That's
know,
a lot of
pressure's on.
improv. It is. Jacob's not here. He's better at the improv. I need a script.
Make a Mr. Beaver.
Yeah, but it's where you said you might want to move back to Sue and Olivia back there.
Yes.
You were thinking.
Definitely doing that.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so you got 1 action will get you back over there. What do you want to do with
Okay.
that second action? Or do you want to wait a moment to determine?
Would scouting for it's just kind of, it's a given that I'd be collecting things. That's not like an action.
Well, you have all sorts of doodads and stuff on your
Right.
tool belt. Yeah, you have a tinkerer's kit, so you have all sorts of gadgets on you. It's
Okay.
abstracted in that you have like this tool belt and the kits on it.
All right. Yeah, can I hold an action for a minute then? I'll rethink.
Yeah, we can come back to this, whatever you all want to do.
Cool.
So,
Also,
how about
chat,
Moot?
if anyone wants to buy something terrible, we will hit our boom. So I'm just throwing it out there.
More hazards,
Oh, no.
please.
Yeah, we're
I love
so
the hazard.
close.
Or more luck, just saying.
More luck. Nobody's bought add a new threat to the to the scene yet.
If someone buys a threat, we hit our goal for 50. So
That's pretty great.
we'll see.
Okay, but in this game, there is a thing called the rule of cruel. So
exactly the
you
rule
know,
of cruel prevail.
we don't necessarily need the threat bot.
Double,
For there to be more.
It is under my purview to be as cruel as I want, and the goal here is to survive, not to win, right? Okay, well, in the meantime, Muda, what do you want to do? You haven't done any actions quite yet. What are you thinking? You're just behind the wagon now?
Do I have line of sight on any of these things for shooting? Or are they all
Yeah,
like...
so these fellers down here, totally out in the open. These ones are actually, they've stepped out from the trees. They're just far. They're far from you. These ones are close. You basically can shoot all of them except the ones up top that have some cover. They'd just be hard to hit. Now, your shooter can shoot anybody on this map, though, because a revolver goes a pretty long distance. But,
Why is it always on my turn?
well, we can come back to you again, because the Reverend has another action, and so does Lady Jane. So,
meant to
𝓤𝓍𝓘
make it
says
worse,
make it
donation.
worse.
oh, is that what it is? Make
That's
it
why I was
worse.
saying, why is it always on my turn?
So that was the escalation one, right?
That is the escalation, and we've hit our pole too.
Oh
More
boy.
luck. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
𝓤𝓍𝓘 says you have more luck. Scott.
I'd have already had to use it.
Okay. Ooh, I get to
I'll work on
escalate.
pole.
I like it.
So is that gonna happen
while you
first,
do
or
that,
do I-
Let's see. I'm going to add a new threat to the scene. That just sounds lovely.
Oh man,
But
I know what I
that's
want to
a
do now
tolerable.
though. I already knew what I wanted to do.
This
Can I
is
do
when
that
chat
before?
changes everything.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the threat in the scene. It won't act until the threat turn, though. So you can have a chance to react to the
okay.
inclusion of... Oh, yeah. I know what I'm going to do.
Very cool.
It could always be a neutral threat to the area. You see, there was this nasty smell in the water that it could come up and get them from behind. Then we don't have to deal with the blue handkerchief people, you know?
I like that.
So,
All right.
as one of the wagons, the other wagons, there's myriad out here. The tinkerer that's coming along, one of their labor robots falls out the back and bonks its head, and looks like it went haywire. Now these labor bots have strong enough arms to bend steel girders, and they're meant to like lay rail tracks. And you can see its grabbing arms start to flex, and it's starting to walk toward this wagon, ready to start bending some girders, or whatever is roughly girder in shape, like an arm or a leg.
This is why the mom said no more monkeys jumping on the bed, guys.
And Lady Jane, with your knowledge of wondrous technology, you know that labor bots are hard to hurt, right? They're made of metal. And boy, if they get a hold of you, they can tear an arm out of its socket. They're very physically strong.
Poll is up for the boon and its artifacts. You guys, it'll be a surprise for you in chat. So vote 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Just type
Ooh,
that
I'm excited
number
to see
in
which one they
chat,
pick.
and Peter will let us know. I'll give it about a minute or two. So poll is live. Just type the number 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And you guys, Adam. Yeah, Adam's done it. You guys can all do it.
Man, I need to get on.
Oh, I need to go see the poll. Where'd that poll go? I've got too many things on in classic DM fashion, right? I've got too many things on my screen.
Nice. And I'll reset. We will reset now. So if we hit,
Ooh, I shouldn't vote. I know what they are.
well, you can roll a die.
I mean, it looks like 2's empty though. Yeah, just.
I know. It's true.
Yeah. Boy, 3. Ooh. 3 and 5 are really
Jacob.
doing well.
Hey.
Skewing the odds.
In fairness, he voted for everything.
Oh, okay. He's distributed.
We do the honor system, guys.
So we'll resolve the artifact, because it could color what the Reverend and Lady Jane do at their last action this turn. Because one of them might get it. I'm going to give it to the character that it makes the most sense for in the scene, basically.
I'm going to close poll as soon as I reset the goal for the stream.
Double check what those numbers are associated to here.
Yeah, and I did it in the order you posted on
Perfect.
Discord.
1, 2. Oh, 3 is winning. That's interesting.
Super chat. All right, we are changing it up here. Settings.
A lot of mystery. Suspense.
Okay, is the did the poll close? I just want to make sure I see the right one.
Yep. Poll is
Number 3
closing
won?
now. Yep.
Looks like number 3 was Black Lung, right? That matches up.
Yep.
Oh, that sounds great.
It's
So
good,
like
guys.
all of these are beneficial. So, Reverend Pace, you don't have the normal coach gun on your sheet, your normal shotgun. You actually have Black Lung, an artifact shotgun forged from the soul of a 𝓕𝓵𝓵𝓮, a type of horror. This shotgun, when you wound a living thing with it, the wound starts suffocating them as smoke comes out of the wound and fills their lungs.
Ooh.
And it basically blinds them and starts suffocating them, in addition to whatever else a shotgun blast is going to do to a body. But you also know that it's cursed. And if you die holding this shotgun, your soul is consumed and you become a 𝓕𝓵𝓵𝓮, a type of eldritch horror itself.
Interesting, considering I'm already dead.
Yeah, it's very flavorful, and when you hold it, smoke starts to rise from the seams and the barrels and the handle, and it's just pitch black colored coal. So you have an artifact shotgun on you. Thank you, chat.
Yes.
That
And
is
now what we usually do is, now that we've hit the first goal, everything's doubled. So
oh wow.
I'll leave that.
So if somebody buys luck, it gives you 2 luck, and if somebody wants to buy a hazard, I add 2 hazards. I love it.
I
Let's
mean,
keep
or
going.
super bad hazard, whatever you want
Yeah, I
to
can
do.
make the hazard have a higher rank. I love it. Okay, so
Welcome.
Reverend Pace, Lady Jane, you each have 1 action left. You want to do anything, or do you want to ready a weapon, maybe to do something off turn? You can do that. You can say, I'm going to use this action, just get my gun ready, and then you can do something and trigger it at any time afterward, that kind of thing.
Is he gonna get the doc pulled out this turn or no?
No, looks like you need 1 more success, and you're at 2 of 3. So 1 more from somebody would get him this turn.
Yeah, I spent everything I had on 1.
It was the safest route, right? You didn't want to risk dropping it on his leg again or anything like that.
Which is based on the die roll was a good choice.
Well, I don't know that I can walk over there and pull him out, because I can't. I'd be rolling pretty high to roll a 12.
Yeah, it's tough.
I'd be rolling max to roll a 12.
Yeah.
So, I guess what Pace is going to do, Hezekiah will. He's not going to use any of his grit yet, his edges yet. He's going to ready his weapon. He's going to ready Black Lung. As he's holding up the thing, he's pulling it out and aiming it one hand at her up on the ridge, the
Nice.
boss.
Just get it if she comes down, right? You're ready to take a shot.
Yeah, he's readying a shot if he needs to take it.
Okay. Yeah, and the way it works with readying is you just ready the weapon you'd like to use. You don't actually even need to say a trigger. You just let me know who you want to shoot and when. You just say, I ready my gun. That's all I need to hear. It's not like there's a trigger like, you didn't specify the right trigger and now you don't get it, right? You just let me know. And same thing with you, Jane. If you want to get your eye ready to shoot something, that also works. And then you just let me know when you want to do it and we do it.
And we got a question. We want clarification on how luck works in the system.
Gotcha.
Do you want to take that?
So, in brief, luck is used in 2 ways. It is a re-roll for the players. You can expend 1 luck to re-roll any skill test or injury roll they just made after I tell them the results. It also can be used to make a small narrative change in the rules. The player can think, good thing I remembered some rope, and they can expend 1 luck to grab, say, oh, good thing I had the rope. But mostly in a situation like this, it's very useful to be able to re-roll failed tests. Yeah, you can make small narrative edits. It's like a weaker version than what you'd see in something like Fate or Blades in the Dark, which often do things like full flashbacks. It's just a minor thing. Good thing I remembered this tool, or wow, sure was lucky that this horse is really fast when I slap it and it just goes. Little things like that. Lets them have a light hand on the wheel of the narrative. Light hand. Okay, so you two have readied. We're going to go to the threat turn.
Was it
Oh, sorry, did I miss somebody?
Me?
Lady Jane?
Yeah, because I was in the
Oh, you
middle
were
of my
waiting.
turn.
Oh, yeah,
and then,
Jane
had
one
we
more
got
action.
the donation. And
Chat's just
Yeah.
causing
Yeah.
chaos.
I got all excited to have this labor bot get at you, right? So.
Yeah.
you can't buy to skip my turn now. Come on.
Do you want another luck? If you skip your turn, you get a luck.
No.
Oh, interesting.
Lady Jane, did you say you were also in the middle of one too?
Yeah.
or-
Yep.
Okay. Well, you go ahead and finish yours out, and then I'll.
All right. I was gonna stick with what I was
Ladies
playing.
first.
So, Lady Jane's kind of trying to create some sort of projectile that would shoot like a bola net sort of contraption.
Like a non-lethal sort of way to capture
Yeah,
them.
the boss lady and her main henchman up there,
I love it.
and that would be like a ready in action. I'm assuming then, like not shooting
you
it
just,
right now.
You just do it. So it's an action to make the contraption, and then it would
Right.
be a second action to fire. You basically make a t-shirt launcher. Like you
Yes.
cobble it together, right? And it's got
Yeah.
a net. I love it. And it's good for one shot. So you've cobbled it together, stuffed it with some net, like rope and netting, and you jury rig it, and it will fall apart immediately after firing. And on the next player turn, you'd be set to go.
Okay.
And Sue and Olivia just watch you make this, and Sue is loading the rifle. Like, what are you making, girl? So Sue and Olivia, they kind of get into cover on the wagon at the end of the player turn as well, because there's fellas walking up to them with guns. So Udo, what do you think?
All right. So, being a robot, all that, would I know any weak points on this labor bot?
It does need its head to think. Now, that bot is not like you. You're a person. These labor bots are automatons, but you do know that destroy the head, like so many things, that's where its processing power is.
That brings me to the next question. So we have 2 actions, right?
Yes, sir.
Can we attack twice?
Yes, you can.
Can I use fan the hammer twice?
No, fan the hammer is once per turn after you shoot. You may fan the hammer. The full rules explain that. But yeah.
Darn. I thought I was going to get 4 shots off. Okay.
No.
I'll take the
Listeners
3,
meant to
though.
No,
I'll take
Yeah.
3. All right,
Yeah.
so I'm going to shoot for the head then. I guess that's be the
Okay.
ace.
So at this distance, to shoot this guy in the head, let's see, it would be 6, 8, 10. You need a 10 or higher. Pretty easy for a crack shot.
That's
So let's do
true.
that
What
first
do
shot.
I have?
Oh, you're
on my
going for the
marks?
ace?
Yeah, he's going for the ace. And now you
Nice,
know that
dude.
these robots are a little resistant to firearms. But
Yeah.
going for the head is a good way to counteract that.
Yeah.
Go ahead
Say
and
my
roll.
marksman's
D10.
+6, so.
Yep.
Ayo. All
All you
right.
need was a 10. So now roll your injury roll, which is 4 d8s. And we're going to look for the lowest number of all of them.
Okay, real quick. Where do you see the D8s on the character sheet? Or is that just a normal thing everybody does?
Oh, down bottom right in your attacks area, you should see like a revolver or a 6-shooter or something.
Yep.
And it'll
I
say
got
the injury die down there. And
Yep.
the calculation, the die set a 1. A 1 is a critical injury. Now, normally, the robot's resistant to this, so it'd get downgraded to a serious. But because you shot him in the head, it's vulnerable. They counteract each other. So you fire your revolver, and a huge hole busts in the side of this labor bot's head, and it's tilted to one side, but it's not dead yet. It's just
Okay,
that
I got more
thorough.
bullets.
But you got 5 more shots in the chamber.
All right.
But yeah, you think one more like that, toast.
All right. Well, I'll use fan the hammer on that one.
First gonna fan.
Yeah. So that
So
one
the
does.
second one would be low rolled now.
Right. So
Cool.
He does.
Mm-hmm.
That is a miss. Because the total would be 8 and you need to be 10.
Yeah.
So
Scratch
you're
faces
a
are
little
so
wide, a little
satisfying.
high with that one.
Yeah.
You got another shot?
Yep. I'm gonna shoot him. So this just needs 1.
Yep, just one again.
Yeah.
Easy.
Oh, come on, boy.
Easy
Yep.
stuff. All right, roll that same injury die, or
that's
same set
right.
of injury die. The size of the die is determined by the weapon. The number is by your skill. So
Is that a 1 or a 7? That's a 7.
That is a
I
7.
got a
So your
2 now.
lowest was a 3, it looked like?
2. I got a 2.
It was a 2. Okay, 2 or a 3, so that'd be serious. So you shoot it again in the head, and the lower jaw of its crude talking machine breaks, but it wasn't enough.
Dang it.
You think a strong breeze is going to take it down. It's rickety. Basically, all of its injury slots are full. You just got to get one more now. Just not quite good enough. But if they weren't resistant to firearms, you would have cleaned them up. But you do know that, like a big aluminum can, they can be crushed really effectively. If only you had somebody in the group that could crush things.
I'm a little busy.
He's a little busy. Yeah. It's tough being the strongest guy in the group, isn't it? Right? You always got to lift things for everybody. All these
Did my
spaghetti
part.
arm
I did
people.
the crack shot. All right.
You did.
So,
You're done,
you got 3
dude.
shots left in the chamber there, Mudo. And just for comparison, like Reverend Pace's shotgun uses a D6 injury die, but he only rolls 3. So we're going to move to the threat turn. Sorry, Lady Jane. You made your rocket launcher,
Yeah.
and Reverend, you were readied, so we're good to move on.
Yes.
On the threat turn, the water
Just
level
cash.
rises again. So the water level rises. Dr. 𝓍𝓻 is now underwater and drowning. He's not drowned yet, but he holds his breath, and this brackish, putrid water has refilled. And Reverend, it starts looking blacker too as the river is being restored, and the sides of the riverbank start to rise up. It's now waist high on all of you, which also means you're feeling the pressure of the river. It's going to start pushing people downriver if you don't get out. It's starting to become a hazard itself. So that's the start of the threat turn. Well, 𝓵𝓵𝓵 here, he sees some folks over here that are in need of some bending. He's going to walk on up, and it's going to try to grab one of mine's arms. So it walks up and uses an action because he just sees a big metal thing, looks just like a girder. So this is a restrain roll against your vigor defense. You should have a vigor and a grit on your sheet. Your vigor is probably pretty good on mine. Now, if you want to use a reaction, you can bolster that vigor, kind of like rolling a saving throw. If you get higher than that number, we take the higher of the 2 for you, the static number or what you roll. But it takes one of your reactions to do so. Up to you.
Gotcha. Okay, so right now the difficulty's 10.
Yeah, so it's got to make a 10 to get you. If you roll, you'd add a d10, you do a d10 plus 6, and if that's higher, we use the higher number instead. Up to you.
No, he can't risk it. I think he's going to spend a reaction to roll.
Okay.
He wants to get Doc out.
Great, go ahead and roll a d10 and add your bonus, and I will roll for the robot.
Right.
Well, you're in luck.
Oh, yeah.
I got 9, so we're already off to a bad start.
I got 10. Well, same difference.
So you rolled the same number,
Yep.
but nonetheless, it tries to grab hold of you and fails. You're just too strong. You just shrug him off, and that's both of
Putting
them.
one foot out. I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah, just kick him like, I'm busy.
just enough.
So
Get
on
away.
the threat turn, these 2 bandits approach Old Cookie. Now, Old Cookie had readied himself lurking down there. He pops up with his sawn-off coach gun and takes a shot at one of them.
Hey, like the mammals.
Cookie's the best.
Come on, Cookie. So he gets a total of 10. That's plenty to hit a leg at this
yeah.
distance.
Cookie
And
best
he gets a
character.
serious injury. So the guy pops up, and you see Old Cookie go, "Get away from my food!" He goes, boom, with his double-barrel shotgun. And he catches one of the bandits in the knee, and you can just see a big blood splatter fly out. The bandit goes down. He goes, "Oh, what the hell? He's got a shotgun!" And but this other bandit now, because that was a ready action, is going to hop in there and try to wrestle the shotgun out of Old Cookie's hands. So I'm going to roll.
I do believe he's smiling the whole time.
He's like, yeah.
Kudos in the bag. Dang it, Cookie, you got 2 shots of that
11.
thing. Use them.
Cookie actually beats the bandit. Cookie reacts and he's wrestling it away, and the bandit can't seem to get the gun off him. And Cookie still has 1 shell in the chamber in his double-barrel coach gun.
Never mess with the cook.
Never mess with the cook. Now, these 2 bandits see Lady Jane loading up some sort of contraption, and they don't like that. So one of them is going to run up to you draws a knife and tries to stab you.
Oh no.
Lovely.
Draws a big old Bowie knife and is going to run up and slash one of your arms.
Ouch.
So you can try to dodge this or block it with your contraption, I suppose, right? It's a big old contraption. You can use either of those, and on your sheet it'll say what your bonus is for both.
Yeah, so I could do a block?
You could block because you have something big enough to block with in your hands.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and roll, and you roll a d10 and add yours, and we'll see. I got a total of 9.
How much yen?
So I have +4.
+4.
Pretty good.
Let's go, girl.
Uh-oh, 7 is not enough. You wish to use luck?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and re-roll that then.
Thanks, +4.
Yep.
Here we go. You click. I don't like it now. It's your roll.
There you
All
go.
right. Should have just let Michelle click.
So luckily you're able to get that contraption up, and the bandit's knife harmlessly glances off it. Big old, sharpened fillet blade on it. And you know what? This one's... I think he's going to do the same. That sounds
Michelle's
good.
so stressed out.
So they don't want to shoot their guns because there are all this cattle here, and they're worried about spooking them. So they run up with their knives. And same deal, they're running in to stab you.
All right.
So you have one more reaction. And
I can use the same thing.
You can do the same thing. Yep.
Coming up.
Don't break my
Just let Jordan
gadget.
in there. Well, I only got a 5 this time. So I think you're going to be just fine.
Okay.
I didn't
Easy
even
stuff.
click it.
I'm sorry.
So yeah, you're just sort of dink, dink, blocking the knife swings as they come up to try to shank you. And it's a sharp blade. It looks like it would leave a nasty bleeding injury.
Yikes.
So these two, what do they want to do? They each take shots at Pat Spreen to try to get him off his horse. Roll each of them. One is a hit. Strain. So Pat Spreen takes a graze to the shoulder, and you see him grab it, and luckily it was just a graze, but they're opening fire on him. Okay. These two.
𝓷𝓵𝓮𝓆 in the chat. What's up?
Yeah.
buddy?
Hey, Jordan. These two see all the shooting and fighting you're doing down here, and they come down a little closer to get into closer range. And this one is actually going to smack one of these horses and cause it to start running out of the way
Come on.
to pull McCready and �11kind of into an inconvenient spot. That was both of his actions. The second one, he sees all sorts of people fighting back here. He's going to take a shot at Reverend Pace, who he sees has black lung out, has a shotgun out. But he moves up into close range. So you can try to react to this with one of your actions by taking cover. You also have a readied shot that you can take at any time, should you wish to.
No, he's not. Even if he sees him out of the corner of his eye type of thing, but he's holding this up to get the dock out. So he ain't going to try to avoid it.
Gotcha. Okay, he's just going to take the shot. He's just going center mass on you, trying to hit. And he misses. Hits the side of the wagon. These bandits
They
are just
don't
not
even
that well
blink.
trained. Yep, doesn't phase you at all. So Salamanca, who has a rifle with some good range on it, though, she is going to take a shot herself at the Reverend, as everybody else is behind cover currently. So she takes careful aim at the Reverend, and you're still not going to react?
No,
Okay, just checking.
he's holding it up to get the dock out.
Totally fine. So she gets a total of 8, which is enough to hit the limb she was aiming at this distance. She was going for one of your legs. Ooh, she gets a critical injury to one of your legs. So your left leg takes a bullet high up on the thigh, and so that limb now has a gunshot wound. And in the complications, it is now disabled. The limb can't be walked on, so you're basically having to limp on it now. So you kind of go down on one knee, right in the leg. And it is a bleeding injury. Though you still, despite being barred from the Marble Orchard, I believe you actually still can't bleed. even though you are undead. So what bleeding does is every turn you don't treat this injury, you get strained, one strain box at a time. And if that fills up, you pass out and start dying. Oh, I saw a question out of the corner of my eye about how damage works. So this is a wound system with no hit points. The way it works is the severity of the injury is based on the lowest result of the dice pool you roll. So in this case, I rolled a 6, a 3, and a 1. A 6 would have been strain if it was the lowest. A 3 would have been a serious injury if it was the lowest. And a 1 is a critical injury if it's the lowest. And then they fill that in the appropriate boxes. So it's a look for the lowest in a dice pool. It means the smaller the die, the deadlier the weapon. Okay. And this, like I said, this bandit is still on, just ready to go. How we doing on time? We're doing okay. All right.
We're great.
At the end of the threat turn, you see this bandit, that was on watch, looking down there, making sure nobody comes and fights his boss. As the river's rising and getting blacker and blacker, you see a shadow appear behind that bandit. And then something grabs it and pulls it out of your view behind the waterfall. And you see Salamanca turn, again, not seeing what's back there, and she screams and starts to stumble and try to back away from whatever is coming on the waterfall. And what you see, then you hear the bandit that gets pulled, you hear that person yell out, and then you hear the sound of a bandsaw or something revving up, and something being sliced, and then the sound goes quiet. As some sort of bulky form is starting to emerge upriver. You can't make out what it is yet.
Reverend knows what it is.
The Reverend would know what this is. It's what you hoped would not be upriver.
Yeah.
With your knowledge. But it hasn't emerged quite yet. It's back there though, whatever it is.
Just a reminder, chat, you could change that.
You could make it even worse. You could add another of them. It is now the player turn. So, Dr. Duquesne is drowning. You got bandits all over you. There's a labor bot trying to snap off one of mine's arms. And now there's some other critter that's coming down river. What do you do?
Mine'll try to finish up. Are you still helping Reverend, or do you want both your turns for that?
Reverend's committed. He's committed.
We're going to save this doctor.
He's stubborn and committed.
I love it.
So one action to help, and then are you going to use both of your actions, mine, to high roll again, or just gamble it on one? You've got luck. You can use here.
Were you going to say something, Scrat, in regards to
I was
this?
just being silly. Is the actual Bible a thing in this world?
Oh my god.
The what, sorry?
The actual Bible a thing in the
No, there is a new
close
scripture that they have at this point. But they do have scripture that they base off, and much of the world of CLOCKWORLD is a world not necessarily our own, but very similar to it.
Oh, I was gonna start cheering on the preacher. It's like Matthew 19:26. Let's go, comma.
The Church of Ashes draws heavy inspiration from Catholicism, from our world. There's a lot of world building there. I just saw a bunch of stuff. Everybody gets luck.
Everybody gets a luck.
And then I see Get 'em Dan from Jordan. Which one is that? I forget the tiers.
Well, technically $5 is luck, so Elder, if you want to give 2 people luck, or you can buy a hazard if you want to give Peter a hazard.
I think you know in your heart, Jordan, what the right answer to that is. But I won't speak for you.
We'll let him decide.
We'll let him decide. But anyway, regardless, all of you get another luck. So you guys should have 2 or 3 each now.
I'm back up to 3 again. So.
Yeah, you got lots. So
here's my roll. Yes! All right. 13 on that one.
So with the Reverend helping out, you're able to slide Dr. Duquesne free, who immediately starts coughing up some of this awful water as he surfaces. And he holds onto the side of the wagon, and then he,
And I'm going to shout to him, Doc, get this wagon out. I'm going to push you. Go, go, go.
Gotcha.
And I think, tell me if I can, I would want to use my second action to help start moving the wagon.
You can just, incidental slap the, have the horses start going, wouldn't be an action to do that. So what I'll say is that it's able to get, and Dr. 𝓷𝓐's just climbing on board, limping, his leg is real hurt, but it's getting free of the river. Now remember, all of you are now waist high on this river. And if you look at the banks, you will all be underwater pretty soon. The side of the bank is enough to submerge you. Oh, okay, so Jordan confirmed. Lady Jane and mine are getting luck each as well. Yay. So you guys are all so lucky.
So lucky. They're not. I'm sorry, Peter.
We're
nice
well loved. It's not luck.
Right. Yeah.
See, our fan bases appreciate us. Actually, it's just theirs. None of mine are here. They don't love me enough. So.
What is wrong with them? I feel like if I was a player in a game and my friends or my community were watching, they would put me through the ringer.
I feel offended, Scrat. Am I not your friend that also watches your viewer?
That means you guys, you're not putting money in. You're not watching. You're participating. See, I'm exempt. You can't spin this on me.
So you've taken one plate spinning out of the picture. Dr. 𝓷𝓐 is free.
I will use my second action to, I think, potentially brawl with the bot. I want to push it under the water.
You know it can't drown. You do know that, just FYI.
Okay.
Wasn't his head exposed or something in there? You could just
his head is looking like a watermelon ready to be crushed.
That's right. Mudo blasted him to bits, right? He's looking pretty rough.
He's real damaged. It's real damaged.
Can I I'm gonna headbutt him.
Sure. Yeah, you want to just try to finish him off with a so that would be brawling. Okay. Be your brawling skill. And the 𝓓𝓵 doesn't take any reactions. It's not going to try to ninja dodge you or something. Well, so to hit the head at this distance, you need to get an 8 or more on your skill test.
Okay. Let's go for it. I've got a plus
just grab him and
4.
Bonk.
Yep. It's like smack the horse's butt, then turn around and
I love it.
Let's see what we got. And I might spend a luck of it. Oh, on the money.
Got it.
8.
So you succeed. So I'm going to say that you have this you have like a headlamp helmet on, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say that's like an improvised weapon, and I'm going to say that's D12s. So it's not as good as like a gun,
right?
But yeah. So roll. What's your brawling skill rank? Are you an adept?
Yes.
So you roll 3 D12s and let me know the lowest result. And you're going for the ace, so it'll be upgraded.
All right. We got 5 is the low.
So it would be strain, but you went for the head and it is not resistant to being bashed. Nice. So you take it and crash, and your helmet just goes straight through what was remaining of that softened up robot head, shatters to pieces.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw
it short circuits a bit, falls over, totally destroyed.
Because it's fun, I want to add a flaw in this where my helmet's down over my eyes, and because I went straight through it, I'm tangled in the robot body for a bit here.
I love it. Yeah, you've got all these gears on you. Half its torso is hanging onto you. Some of its grippers are still engaging randomly.
I expected it to be more resistant, but there's too many bullet holes.
Yeah, you clobbered it. And you had the right kind of weapon. You need to bash it. That really gets through quick. Okay. Great. Another problem solved. I'll just remove it from the map. Phew. So that was both of mine's actions and only one of the Reverend's. We got all sorts of other things. Lady Jane, some people are trying to stab you.
Yeah, so I wanted to use my little Gizmo gadget t-shirt launcher with the bola thing.
I didn't know you
close range. Well, that's what, you were helping with the puppy dog.
I love it.
Yeah. But yeah, so instead of the boss lady though, I want to. I mean, would they be close enough that I could potentially?
Yeah.
Rep both.
I love it. Yeah.
See? All right.
Yeah. So you roll a ranged. You use your marksmanship or range. I forget which version it says on your sheet. That's what you're going to roll. And for them, they're going to try to dive out of the way of this. They're going to try to roll as well.
What do you got for plus?
And if you want to go all in using both of your actions to take that one shot, you will high roll it. It's up to you.
I'm gonna stick with just this. Okay. I want to use my laser eye thing. So.
The laser eye is cool. All right, they both rolled. I got a 7 and a 6. What'd you get?
Well,
5. You want to spend?
I'm gonna do my luck. Yeah.
Reset it.
Okay. Oh yeah, what was your the total was 5? I just didn't see the number
5.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. Oh yeah, because you added
Oh yeah.
There you go. That's higher than the both of them. So
Kind
you
of just
fire.
shook it a little bit. And it was like,
Yeah, like oh, there we go. There we go. You just had the safety on still.
right,
Right. And you're like, why did I even build the safety into this? I shoot it once. It's really strange.
Yeah.
So you fire the net at these two, and they both get caught in it, unable to dive away at the time. So they're all restrained, and they actually get flung underneath the cattle. And the cattle are looking mighty spooked. And I'm going to say that they become a little bit of a stampede running by here.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
And that's not good for them. They're each going to get a random injury.
No.
Ooh.
Not the cattle.
Not the cat.
So one of them gets a leg broke by the cattle. He's going to be all right. The other one, I rolled a 1. That means his head gets stepped on. He dies.
Hey.
So you non-lethally captured him just for him to be stampeded on by some cattle and dies.
Whoa.
Takes a critical
But she
injury.
didn't kill him, so
No.
she's
No.
fine.
Yeah.
It's like in every action movie, you just like the guy falls and he hurts himself. I mean, maybe I pushed him, but it's
She
a whole-
did the Batman thing. She's like, I'm not going to kill you. I just don't have to save you.
And you see that the other dude is out of he has no fight left in him. He is netted and his leg is broke and he ain't going to stab nobody now. He wants to live. Awesome. And you have a whole other action now.
I
that you can
do.
use as you see fit.
That just changed everything, though. Man, because I wanted to use my laser eye thing, but
This is gonna be Lady Jane's forever problem.
Yeah.
These two up here are in range of your laser eye. The ones
even
on
though
the
they're up.
ridge.
Oh.
Yeah, they're still close. They're a lot closer. This ridge is just really high up the waterfall.
Okay.
Let's
She
go.
Then
used-
there we
if
go.
she uses her laser eye on him, I'm imagining that she's looking like, oh, I tried to capture him non-lethally, and she looks up at them, and then it goes off.
Yeah.
Slices them. Okay, so you're going to take a shot at them. And they're not actually aware that you even have a firearm. They were watching the stampede and spring, so the target's not going to react. Now, where do you want to shoot them on their body? It's harder to hit them in the legs and head, easiest to hit them center mass. So at this
Broad,
distance,
yeah.
you need to get a 6 or higher to hit them torso, 8 or higher for the limbs, 10 or higher for the head.
Yeah, the broad torso.
Okay, sounds good. So just need a 6 or higher on your D10 plus your bonus.
What's your plus?
Which is the marksman, which is 2.
2.
Yep.
Roll away.
Okay.
The
I gotta use the
Just sorry, really quick. I know you guys have the older versions of the character sheet. The laser eye uses acuity in the update. So use your acuity bonus here instead. Your sheet just, I'm updating all of them this weekend.
So it'd be a 7 total, right? You have, what do you
No,
have?
that'd be 6
Oh.
plus. So
that'd be
5.
9 total.
So you succeed.
Yeah.
Hey!
Yeah, there's an
I still have
update
my
to the laser eye.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, it says marksman. Okay.
Yes, because
Well, thank you. Yeah.
yeah, I had somebody had just run this in a playtest literally a couple days ago with when that update was happened. So makes Lady Jane much more effective.
That makes
Anyway,
sense.
so let's roll for an injury die, shall we?
All right.
So what does it say on the sheet there, injury die?
Master in acuity.
Yeah, what is the die size that it says on the sheet? I'm seeing if it's still accurate too. Does it say like a bottom right, kind of where laser eye is on the front where it says your attacks?
Scroll
Down
down.
farther.
You scroll down.
It's slow. There
Laser
it
eye,
is.
there
So-
it is. 2d8.
Okay,
still in the
it's been
marksmanship, though. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's actually a D10 now. I nerfed the injury die slightly, but now it uses acuity. But you roll 4 D10s because it's using your acuity now.
Yeah.
So go ahead and roll 4 D10s and let me know the lowest. Ooh, I saw a 2.
Yep.
So that's a serious injury to that bandit. So you laser eye him and it scorches across his chest and burns away his blue scarf, his precious blue scarf. He goes, oh, what in tarnation was that? He just kind of looks down. And bandits are kind of cowards, and if you shoot them, they don't want to die. So it looks like a lot of the fight leaves his eyes at that. Okay, that was both of Lady Jane's. So we've got some more here in the center. We got Mudo, we got Reverend. What are y'all thinking?
Let's see, my cover took off.
Yeah, your cover just sort of ski-daddled there.
Sorry, boys.
That's why I didn't want to save him. Moving's one of the actions, right?
Correct, and you can split your movement up between your actions as well. But yeah, moving is an action.
All right. Is this cart going somewhere? Can I get behind it still, or?
It is. It's moving out. You just freed it, so next player turn it's going to move again. But it's done moving for this turn.
You could just hop in it, I guess.
You could ride along in it. It's covered. It's a covered wagon.
I'm gonna go help cook.
Okay.
I'm gonna.
He's got some no good people. Now this one on the ground, no fight left in him.
Yeah. I kind of figured. So I'll go straight
He
across.
got some buckshot to the leg.
Yeah, I want to get to the dry land and then make my way down here and then top a shot at that guy on his.
Go ahead and
carriage.
roll an athletics test to make it out of the river. The river's picking up, and you're not on a horse or a wagon. It's just a 6 or higher you need, though. It's pretty easy. It's a novice rank, and it's going to get harder every turn you're after. Easy. Climb right out. So you scamper on down. I just keep using words that remind me of a squirrel. It's just an instinct for me.
I even got squirrel on my shirt, man.
Yeah. Squirrels abound. Okay, and you're now very close range to both of those banditos.
Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna shoot the not shot one on.
The one wrestling with the shotgun there?
Yeah.
Where do you want to try to shoot him? Bolt, rim, ace. It goes 6, 8, 10. Then you got to hit.
I'll just go straight for the chest.
Okay. You can't miss at this distance because you just need a 6 or higher.
Oh shoot! I forgot about that. Maybe I should have
so
gone
you
for
want
the
to change
head.
your answer.
Yeah. Let me go for the head.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good. And no, you cannot non-lethally shoot somebody in the head with a gun or anything.
I don't want to non-lethally shoot him.
Now, Lady Jane has a non-lethal weapon. You have a Tesla rod. You have a
Tesla rod.
taser,
Yep.
actually, that can
Yes.
stun people. Anyway. I mean, we saw what happens when Lady Jane tries to do something non-lethal. She gets trampled by cattle.
Tried.
She'll use the Tesla thing while they're standing in the water. It wasn't lethal.
It's the
But
thought
also, you
that
need to get a 10 or higher here for the headshot. 6, 8, 10.
Right.
Now, this guy sees you come up with a gun, and he kind of looks, and old Cookie looks at you too, as you draw a gun and aim it at him, and he's going to try to dive behind the wagon. So I get a total of 6. What was your total? I missed it. It disappeared quickly.
It's 4 plus 6, though, right?
Okay, you got a 10.
10.
So you not only beat his reaction, but you hit the number you needed to hit.
Yeah.
You're good to go. Roll your injury die.
Oh, that's right. I just forget about that part.
Mudo is a deadly shot. And, ooh, I see a 2. So that is a serious injury that gets upgraded to a critical injury. So he goes to jump off, and he does catch air, but just like shooting skeet like you're used to, you catch him in the head as he falls, and he hits the dirt and stops moving.
The air ain't the only thing he caught.
And you now only have 2 shots left in your revolver, if I'm counting correctly.
That's right.
Now you do have Fan the Hammer. You could shoot again.
Well, he did, didn't he?
That's true, but there are other bandits in the scene.
Oh, I can like whip around and hit it.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be the same target. It's just you can shoot again immediately afterward at any target.
Okay.
That's
Turn around and fan the hammer.
Yeah. All right. I'll hit. How do I ping this?
Hold
this guy
right click will let you display a little targeter there.
Yeah.
All right.
Seeing?
So he is a sitting duck. No cover, nothing, no reaction he can make. He doesn't have a big old shield or something, so you just roll. Target whatever you want.
It's a low roll, though, right?
Low rolled, correct.
Oh,
So
boy.
what are you
For
aiming
the-
for?
Oh, that
Yeah,
hurts.
just the chest again. So.
Okay. So you got a 10 though, so you hit. Even low roll because you had +6.
Yeah.
So go ahead and roll your injury die.
Forgot again. Ayo.
Critical injury.
Ooh.
So you whip around and put one right in the guy's chest, and he sort of stops there, gun in hand, and you see all this red forming on his shirt, and he goes real pale, falls down, bleeding out. Goes in. Okay, that was both of Mudo's actions, both of mine's, and we just got the Reverend. You got one more action.
Is it Reverend Pace is? Can I spend 1 luck to stop my injury, or do I have to actually do that with a action?
You'd have to use an action to stop it. Luck doesn't give you more action economy, except for certain edges that characters can. Yeah.
All right. Well, he's just gonna have to take the injury then, because he's gonna yell, "Blood Oilers, clear out!"
Love it. So he yelled out blood oilers. Now everybody, regardless of your knowledge, all characters would have heard of Blood Oilers. You wouldn't really know much about them except that they are not to be trifled with. They are terrifying, and you hope that a Blood Oiler kills you rather than take you alive back to their lairs to be turned into other monstrosities. So Reverend calls out, Blood Oilers are coming. Everybody
I'm familiar with them.
Yes, those people who have watched some of my YouTube videos may have seen.
Sounds like the Reavers from Firefly.
It is very much one of my inspirations.
Such a good show.
That's awesome.
So good.
Had a
My
feeling.
idea with yelling that is that he's using bravado to try and make everybody, all the, like Salamanca, call her people off. Everybody clear out. We're all going to die if we stay.
I like that. So let's have you roll a skill test with this to
Nice.
gauge its success. How about, I think it would just be an adept test. So an 8 or higher is what you need to get to convince both sides of like, hey, let's stop shooting each other. And Moodle's like, what? After just killing 2 people and escape. So roll a d10, add your bravado bonus. And let's see what
Which
you
is +4.
get. You're pretty good.
I'll throw it out, chat. $20 away from our next boon roll, so you could give Peter some more fodder.
Oh, it will be percentile for some reason.
Oh.
But either of them was a success. So, yeah. So that is a success. So Salamanca says, as she looks already terrified, she says, like, yeah, boys, call it off. Come get me, men, she says to her bandits. And they all look frightened, and some of them look like they might actually just run rather than help.
Nice.
But calling that out, all of the friendly folk are all going to move and things are all going to start scrambling. So at the end of the player turn, Old Cookie takes his wagon out now that the bandits are all off of him. He's free to run. Brother Ellum takes it. Didn't grab them both. Brother Ellum gets his wagon across because it's not quite so deep that the horses can't navigate it, chest high. And Pat Spreen gets part of the way through with the cattle, but he's got to move a lot slower with the cattle. Jane, do you want to be like on the wagon with them?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yep, kind of jump
totally
on like,
cool.
let's go, ladies.
So they are able to get halfway.
Oh no.
They're not quite all the way there yet. So one more player turn and they'll be up the next embankment. Vilda and McCready come about a little bit, and McCready gets out her revolver and looks like she's going to try to cover people who make it there.
We've got a
Ooh,
wild.
I just saw
Yep.
Oh,
somebody
no.
wanted to buy the threat one. Is that what that is? The escalation?
Looks
like
like,
a-
it.
Thank
And
you.
technically,
I
you
think.
have a $5 left over to give a luck to somebody, Phantom. Thank you so much. And that unlocks
Thank
our
you.
next
More
boon poll also.
Oh no.
So we're gonna
I
get
think
that.
I think there should be more Blood Oilers in this scene. Then that sounds
Oh.
great.
Sounds good. There is a wild-eyed moldering moose request.
Oh, wild-eyed moldering moose.
I mean, take it as you will.
Okay, so
This is a mutated wasteland, so
I would add a mutated beast because there are several of those, but because we're short on time, that would make the scene very complicated because they're big set piece enemies. So forgive me for just maybe adding an extra Blood Oiler. But let me tell you, mutated rattlesnake, mutated wolf, mutated bear, there's a bunch of mutated things, but they are...
it doesn't have to
moose
affect
head
us, you
on.
know.
Yeah.
It could just be over
It's just be there.
Could just be over these guys over here, you know. It
You're
doesn't-
right, you're right. And then I get to pull out the horrible description of the mutated wolf then.
Yes.
Ooh,
So-
I love that.
Emerging, let's put it in the way of the players a little bit here.
Oh no.
So emerging, you know what, the bandits. So coming from
Yes.
behind you out of the woodwork is a immense wolf, easily 10 feet tall at the shoulder. Its body is missing a lot of its hair. It has all these strange growths in it. And as it walks, it's dropping these large worms out of its mouth. And you can see coming out of its body, bursting from the fur, are all sorts of strange tentacles, like something's
Calling it-
inside the skin.
Princess
Oh, sorry, it's a
Mononoke.
moose. It's a moose, not a wolf.
Princess Mononoke.
I
Yes,
like
very
that.
much that kind of visual, but the tentacles are also quite long as well, right? It looks like it has
Jacob.
things inside of it. And it looks like, and Lady Jane would be familiar, it looks like it's been exposed to devil's breath, which for people not in Clockworld is radiation. So it's
Two
been
things?
irradiated. Yes.
Poll is live 1, 2, 4, or 5. And also, the luck token goes to Old Cookie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Cookie. Old Cookie, he's got another shot ready to go. You know, he uses his other action to reload his shotgun.
Yes.
He's ready to go. At the end of the player turn, he's going to shoot that next bandit in your way because you know what? They tried to stab him and they tried to take his gun.
And the
So
They
food.
was after my food.
Exactly.
They was
And
after my
won't
beans,
stand for
biscuits, whiskey, and lard.
Oh, he just wings him though. Oh no, he's got luck. He re-rolls it with the luck you gave him.
Yes, let's do it.
There you go. He seriously injures that bandit who catches a bunch of buckshot and goes flopping to the ground. Oh God! And he neutralizes both that other bandit.
Hezekiah just
Oh.
mutters, more bodies for them for the Oilers.
Okay, so this mutated moose, right, not wolf, mutated moose actually attacks these bandits back here that Lady Jane was fighting. And you can see that it's spewing forth these worms that are trying to crawl inside them and eat them from the inside out. It's very gross.
Beautiful. Poll is ending with 5. 5 is the winner.
Okay, let me double check which one that was. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, you picked the weirdest one. Okay, Lady Jane, this
Oh,
is
no.
a gadget.
Oh, okay.
This is you remembered that you had this thing called Tempus Fugit, which is a pre-calamity piece of technology. You've kept it secret because it's so valuable. It's one of a kind. It's a pocket watch. And you know that if you click one of the buttons on the side, you go back in time 1 turn.
Oh.
So basically letting you undo the events just for you 1 turn.
That's cool.
It would be just me, or would
Yeah, it just
everyone?
rewinds you.
Oh, so it's not like everyone else would go back in time.
Nope. And it puts you back exactly as you were 1 turn ago, whether you're in a good position or not.
Wow,
Yeah.
Very cool.
that is fascinating.
And it has a warning label on the back that says, you know, messing with time is dangerous, proceed with caution.
Makes sense.
Don't meet yourself yesterday.
Yeah. So that is, I believe, the whole player turn, right? Everybody's good. So with Hezekiah's call out, all the folk are running and the bandits will not attack you any further. He's won them all over. Now, the threat turn. The river rises once again. People on foot in the river. I will be rolling the River Rapids hazard against you now, as the river has gained all sorts of strength.
And I'll throw out to you, Peter. Everything was doubled there, so that last purchase was a double
Oh, wow.
danger. So
Oh, boy.
Does that mean Cookie would have got 2 lucks
it's
also?
true. Yes.
Cookie's got another luck. When he takes another shot, he'll re-roll it again. Make sure it goes in.
I love it.
So I have gotten a 12. I'm rolling against everybody's vigor who is in the river. Now you can roll a reaction to roll your vigor to try to stop yourself from getting swept away.
I'm gonna do that.
Okay, so go ahead and roll a d10 and add your vigor bonus, and you're looking for now a 12.
That's everybody in the water.
Yep, that'll be mine and Reverend Pace because you're not in a wagon.
In
We're
a
on
wagon.
horse.
Okay.
That's a 9 plus 6 for me, so
Nailed it.
Vigor.
Easy. And then mine. You both are really hardy folk, so
Yes. Plus
you're
6.
pretty good at this.
Plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
did I take a strain from that last
As
turn?
you were bleeding, so you check 1 strain box. Thank you for reminding me.
15 total.
Nailed it. All you needed was a 12. So, mine is really strong, and the Reverend is really resolute, and both of you hold out against the river.
You know, I did do a flaw. I wonder if I should low roll that because I'm tangled up a bit.
Sure. Oh, yeah, good idea. Let's roll. Let's see what
yeah.
happens.
I'll
Because if somebody
re-roll
gets
this.
swept down-river, it's fun. I get to roll on my random river injuries table.
Ooh, yeah, so I rolled a 9.
Oh,
I rolled
crushed it.
Sorry, Peter.
Suffering from success over here.
I tried.
Okay. So on the threat turn, I'm going to put a little image here of what you see. So emerging from behind the river is a horrible, twisted monstrosity of metal and flesh fused. It's easily over 7 feet tall, and it drips with a viscous black fluid and glowing red eyes. Ooh, that was way too big. So,
Oh,
it is,
boy.
as the Reverend warned, a blood oiler. One of the most dangerous things that stalks the Ruination. It is an undead robot
Yeah,
that
dude.
steals people away to turn them into more undead robots, tormenting them and twisting their bodies like this. And it is big. And the Reverend knows, do not let them get their hands on you. And that they want to take you all alive. So, this Blood Oiler has dispatched one of these bandits back here.
The token
And
is so
it
good
steps
too,
up,
man.
and _Salamanca tries to get away. Let's see who wins this little contest here. So Salamanca gets a whopping 5. Blood Oiler gets 17. So Salamanca is trying to scramble. Yeah. So Salamanca is trying to scramble away, and you see the Blood Oiler. It has a chainsaw arm, a grabbing arm, and a big syringe on its back. It grabs Salamanca by the neck with its grabbing arm and lifts her into the air, and then, stabs her with the syringe, and you see Salamanca go limp, and little bits of black fluid start dripping from her eyes, mouth, and ears. She has been paralyzed by this Blood Oiler. Now, even though they didn't vote to add more, part of the scenario is more Blood Oilers wash downstream. So another one washes over the waterfall, but it didn't add one already fighting you, washes over the waterfall as it fills and comes crashing down into the river and butts up against the wagon that you're all on.
Yep.
It emerges and grabs the horses that are pulling the wagon and immobilizes them, holding the wagon in place. And you see another one drifting and getting stuck up here, like there was a whole bunch of them waterlogged and trapped underneath the dam that have now been freed. So this Blood Oiler, it's grabbing hold of the wagon, and it gets up and it starts revving its chainsaw, ready to tear apart everybody in the wagon.
Oh, dude.
Player turn.
Not taking a turn to do it or anything, but Reverend just says, "Leave the wagon! Get to the other side!"
Sage advice. All right, the bandits aren't a problem anymore, but one Blood Oiler has the wagon with your gunsmith, your tinkerer, and your saloon owner, most important of all. And more are coming downstream. And Salamanca,
Ace don't even drink. He don't care about no saloon.
Yeah. And Salamanca will be taken by the Blood Oilers if you don't intervene. A fate worse than death.
Well, the Reverend fully thinks about it, looks at her. He's got the black lung out, and he just lowers it down. Because one of his traits is mercy.
Yeah.
So the wicked are caught in their own devices.
Love it. I love it.
You just hear Mudo.
Some groups who have played this session capture Salamanca and don't kill her or let her get taken. Most of them don't save her, though. Surprising, shocking, because she ambushes them. Anyway, all right, so you've got...
If she hadn't shot him in the leg, he would have killed her out of mercy.
Right.
But no.
She shot first.
He's merciless.
So, most of the folk are across. Pat Spreen and his cattle will be across at the end of this turn. I can just move them now if you want. Like, they'll get across. The problem is, though, is that this wagon is now trapped. Dr. Duquesne gets out. Old Cookie moves up. Right, the rest of them look like they're in the clear. It's just a matter of these bandits, who are probably screwed because the mutated moose is going to destroy them. And now that the river is so strong, it's getting harder to get free. Previous turn, it was just an adept. It's now going to get harder and harder to get through this river. So we are just about at time, though, I noticed. So maybe we just resolve, if Lady Jane, if you can get the wagon free, you guys escape. If not, you'll have to abandon the wagon. Or
I know what mine's gonna do.
Reverend already said to abandon the wagon, just leave. But no, if you guys are going to try and save her, you can save her. It's up to you.
No, I guess I was thinking with Lady Jane would probably be like, grab the rifles, but light the dynamite on fire. You know, like we'll abandon the wagon. We'll just get out, but just like light up the dynamite as quick as we can and just get out. Just start
in the wagon, leave it.
Yeah,
in the wagon.
like that.
Yeah, leaving the dynamite in the wagon.
Set a fuse.
Set the fuse, but like getting out on the opposite side, obviously.
Yeah, makes sense. So you see Sue, she goes, but, oh, and she looks at all of her beautiful guns. She's like, oh, which one to take? That one's really nice. No.
Just grab it.
Did you just turn? You just grab her head and turn her towards the oiler, and you're like, that's the opposition.
Just hurry. And what Olivia does, though, she grabs the biggest crate of whiskey she can because she knows you gotta have something. She gets a big one, like, all right, let's go. Mm-hmm. She says, now they need to get across the river, though. So I'm gonna roll their athletics. It just is one roll. Does anybody want to try to help them with their actions? Because you can assist other people with their rolls. So mind, you're gonna try to get them across?
If I can, I would also just throwing everything into this. I can push my luck and spend a luck to get an extra action.
That's right. Mine has that feature.
Yeah, so I'm going to spend one of those amazing chat purchase lucks. I'm hoping I could go in and basically, well, I want to toss my grenade to add it to the explosion.
Oh, yeah.
As my second action. Move, throw grenade, and then try to pick up both the girls and start, like, running with them.
I'll say that they won't have to roll in athletics if you can make a tough might check here to lift two people carrying stuff. Does that sound good?
Let's do it.
So I'm going to say this is tough. This would be extraordinary to pick up two grown people and all the gear they're taking. So that's a 12 or higher.
Okay.
But mine's extraordinary.
Mine is extraordinary.
Try.
Yeah, you toss the grenade as you go. And Lady Jane, you can like catch it, toss it in the wagon.
Yes, nice jump grenade for you. Just stack it up. All right, and I've got one more luck I can spend on this if I need. So.
Yeah, you've got some luck.
Ooh, okay, 14 total.
Crushed it. So you're able to pick them both up and get out of the river with them. So now there's only a question of Lady Jane and Reverend Pace. Can you get out of the river?
Well, Pace is waiting to make sure Lady Jane gets over.
I did not know that, Phantom Koala.
I didn't either. That's pretty
okay.
Cool.
So, Lady Jane, it's an action to set a fuse.
Yes.
How long a fuse do you want to set?
So riled by the scent of liquor,
however long you want.
I blame the Canadians.
That's good.
Short.
Kane, it's your fault.
Like,
To say there's a joke to be made here because my brother goes by the name of Moose and he really likes his booze.
Secret better.
So you said short, so like next turn, basically, that kind of short? Not this turn, in case you fail and you get stuck here or something, right?
Right. Yes. Makes sense.
Okay, so so that's one action to set the fuse, and then it would be an action to try to get out of the river. Now this uses athletics to try to get out, and you need an 8 or higher to get out of this river. That would be for, so you want to try rolling, and then we'll have Pace. You want to wait to see if she gets out, basically?
Yeah, I'm going last to make sure she gets out.
Okay. Lady Jane also has Tempest Fugit, too. All right, so D10 plus your, nailed it.
Nice.
So you're able to get across the river.
Take the 11.
I'll take the 11.
Very nice. All right, Pace. You just got to get out of the river yourself now, which would be an athletics test.
He's gonna,
Reverend.
He's gonna look. He knows the oiler's gonna survive the explosion.
You think this is enough dynamite to kill this oiler?
Okay, this oiler.
Yeah, because there was a bunch of dynamite in there. It's a bunch of liquor and dynamite. This would blow that oiler back to hell. Wouldn't be enough to destroy the ones up top or anything like that.
To activate one of my abilities, the Word of Vengeance, would that be an action?
It is an action to activate Word of Vengeance.
He's gonna Word of Vengeance on the actual explosives.
Oh, on the wagon itself, you're gonna bless it basically so that it can carry out your will. I love it,
dude.
And the idea is, maybe it's supernaturally gonna maybe catch some of the others.
It also pierces resistances now, and it ignores cover. That will make a big difference. So that strains you as well to do this.
Yeah. So he's gonna activate that.
I love
and
it.
Say, "Is not my word like as a fire, saith the Lord, and like a hammer that breaketh the rock in pieces."
That is so perfect right now. Absolutely perfect.
Is it not?
Now, will you get out of the river? Let's answer that question. So roll a d10, add your athletics bonus. You need an 8 or higher.
Athletics bonus.
No, Reverend Pace ain't the most athletic man.
But
But
he
he
is.
gets on his side. Someone's looking down on
The
Reverend.
light is on his side.
That it is. So, because we're at time here,
He takes two strain though because he got bleeding.
you're bleeding out still, actually. So you may lose consciousness here, but you're able to get all the people that matter across the river. And as you're pulling away, Lady Jane, you're like timing it like it should be about now. It explodes in a bright flash. A brighter white light than you were expecting from all the dynamite. The explosion is huge, and it levels the waterfall and everything on it. As you see it, just this massive explosion of rocks and torn mechanical parts and undead gore erupting out of the river as the caravan is able to pull free just in time. And so you make it free. Salamanca is spared a terrible fate by being blown to Kingdom Come.
Hezekiah is disappointed.
So is Mudo.
All the way.
Well, wait, do we see where she goes?
Is the mutated moose. The mutated moose survives all of this and has quite a few snacks that it can munch on. And that is the end of the crossing of the 𝓲𝓵𝓵𝓮 River.
Wow.
Dude.
I thought we were going to have to split it up and not be able to get all the way across.
We survived, and
You
the
have lost.
lowest odd was all of us surviving. So
Yeah. Now you did lose all of the firearms, ammunition, and most of the alcohol for this journey, as this adventure was one I ran as a long-form campaign for internal groups. And it was about trying to make it all the way to the settlement and seeing what you could keep along the way. So
Yeah, now look
interesting
here,
stuff.
Mr. DM man. I don't care about your silly details. All right.
You know, amusingly, almost every Lady Jane player almost blows herself up in this fight. Weird.
That comes with the Tinkerer, right? That's just
Yeah.
like...
Well, what has happened several times is Lady Jane loses a leg to a blood oiler, lights the dynamite, and just says, "Go on without me."
Oh, that's beautiful. I thought
Yeah.
one of us was going to do that.
Yeah.
Well, if Hezekiah hadn't have been able, if Hezekiah had to light it and then, had to spend one more action the wrong way, he would have probably just not bothered and stayed in the river and blessed that.
Yeah. The Lady Jane and Hezekiah were statistically unlikely to make that last athletics roll, but you had
Seriously.
luck to help out
Yeah.
because it was not easy to do. And if you fail that, you actually get swept down river and take injuries and start drowning. And it's not good.
Now, this was awesome, man. Real quick, I'm going to throw everybody under the bus here for a second. Maybe because I love the to be continued ending as the water is pouring down and there's that moose chomping and just staring at us.
Yeah. And it knows which way you went.
So maybe we could come back again and pick the story up where we left off.
Maybe. There are many more scenarios like this in this sequence. Many.
It's almost like there's this thing in June, that's showdown.
I feel like it's a showdown
Yeah.
at high something.
Yeah.
We will,
by the way, your community is awesome with all of the luck. They're
my
so much
gosh.
more merciful than I was
I know.
expecting.
Chat, if we come back, maybe, check us out. I'll keep you posted. Maybe you'll be more evil next time. You guys are awesome.
Yeah.
The
Make it
moose is
harder
always
on them, right?
watching.
Let me take some limbs. Let me claim some lives.
We also
Almost got
rolled.
Hezekiah. So,
I know. You
Yeah.
just rolled clinch right when you needed to.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I
all
had
very
some luck
close.
built up, but
It's all very
yeah.
close. And that's the way the system's kind of designed. It's not meant to be that attrition where like you're taking a bunch of hits. It's the
Yeah.
threat of that is sufficient for tension, right?
You feel
Yeah, this
it.
would actually run really good with as a pulpy, like a counterpart to Pulp Cthulhu or something like that.
Yeah.
Mm.
That is maybe one of my inspirations. Like I love that stuff.
You're in good company here, sir. Where is it? Where's the mug? There it is. Awesome. Wow, this was great. Everybody, thank you for being here. Chat, seriously, thank you for being amazing tonight. This was awesome. I'll go around the horn and we'll end with Peter to do the final shout out. Scrat, where can people find and support you?
On YouTube, and just mail me money, I guess, if you want to support me.
That's true. It's like Sadie, you did both. Yeah, Mel. All right, throw your dress out there, dox yourself. It's all good.
No, just YouTube. I got a Discord. Support, obviously. Just watch videos, like, subscribe, share. Sharing's important.
Buy his book.
But I was getting out. I got a few affiliate links for a couple things in all my video descriptions, but the biggest support is buying the book that I have written, which, by the way, the editor is here in the room with us. For those of you that don't know, I had a terrible experience with an editor, not the one in the room with us, but she had to come in hot for a line edit and knocked it out, and then I'm sorry, a copy edit, not a line edit. There's a difference. Yeah, it's a copy edit. And knocked it out of the park. So I should be getting a proof Tuesday. And if that all checks out, print-wise, I have to run a copy to make sure the printer doesn't mess up. So, it'll be on the market if y'all want to go buy that.
Yes,
give it a
you should.
review.
You all should.
She liked it. It made her cry. She was so sad.
Yeah. It was good.
Which is a good thing.
Yes, it's a good thing.
Scrat feeds on your tears.
I do. It's my favorite thing.
That's what he's actually
writing.
drinking.
Well, speaking of feeding on your tears, Master Cthulhu himself, Adam, where can people find and support you?
Well, they can find me at the End of Planar Crossroads. That's endofplanarcrossroads.com or theiopc.com. Either one of those works. It has all of our links. Kind of bare bones right now, but has all of our links. You can find us on YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, and Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, them social media stuffs, and all that.
All the things.
MySpace?
Wow.
I had a MySpace at one point. Don't anymore.
In Tom, man, we were tight.
Before I launched my YouTube channel, the last social media I had was MySpace. So,
Dude,
Same.
that's a big jump.
it's a bit of a jump. It was a little bit of a culture shock.
I bet. Well, speaking of, Peter from Tales from Elsewhere, how can people find and support you? Thank you for being here, man. This was awesome.
My genuine pleasure. I've been itching to play games with you guys for a while. It's hard to get schedules to line up and all that, but
Yes.
it is great. So you can find me. I have a YouTube channel that's Tales from Elsewhere. You can find that pretty easily, and on that I talk about
Links in
game
the
design
description.
philosophy. Yeah, there'll be a link. It's pretty easy to find. I talk about game design philosophy, so it's very much an analysis of game design. It also acts as a bit of a dev blog for the game you just saw us play, which is Tales from Elsewhere. You can also go to talesfromelsewhere.com, and on that site there are playtest materials, and I'm going to be launching even more free playtest materials. There's a 4 to 5 hour adventure that comes with that. It has everything you need to play. It has all these pre-gens in it, the character sheets they were using. I'm updating them, like Lady Jane's is slightly updated here. And I'm also releasing the character creation playtest packet in another week or so. And that is something like 50-page document that lets you make these kinds of characters in the system and use them in the provided adventure. So it's going to be really cool. But it's only about 40% of the available customization options. The game has a lot of customization options.
Awesome.
Very cool stuff. And these characters were all made with those options, basically straight out of the book. So yeah, you can find me there on talesfromelsewhere.com. I have a Discord server. All the links are on YouTube. I hang out there all the time, and I actually run lots of play tests for small scenes like this in my Discord server. I actually ran this with my Discord members before running it here. As an example. So if you want to participate in more playtests that aren't necessarily televised, or sorry, that's not called televised, streamed.
I'll take it. Yeah.
I'm dating myself really badly here. That's where you can find me. I'm super active in there, and I'm always hanging out. I also hang out in all these guys' Discord servers.
Indeed.
It's
we
true.
wouldn't have it any other way. Scrat size. Man, thank you.
I'm telling you, man,
so
he's
much.
got his whole team is online as him. It's not really him in all these places.
That's not true. It is always me. Now, whenever you see Tales from Elsewhere, that is me logged in. Nobody else has a login but me. There is one other developer working on the game, and I have a video editor, and that is the team.
Nice.
But it's always me talking.
Yes. Dude.
Yeah, Scrat doesn't believe me.
No, Scrat's like, it's impossible. How could he possibly do
He's
it? all?
everywhere. I have a lot of professional networking and experience in my day job, so I'm very much accustomed to going and meeting people everywhere. So.
That's a good skill to have. when
Yeah.
we're playing games, right?
Yeah, this was so fun. I can't thank you guys enough for when I started. You all were really nice and welcoming to me on YouTube. Because, like I said, I hadn't been online since like MySpace. So
Yes, that's
it was
awesome.
nice to meet really nice people and really, welcoming, giving me shout outs and all that. So you guys are great. I'm super happy that I got to play games with you.
Yeah, man, thank you. Right back at you. This has been great. And guys, stick around for a little bit. We'll record a little behind the scenes, just a little 𝓍𝓼𝓵. And this has been another fantastical episode of Skraturdays, an Avenue Studios production with a Squirrel Plays, Adam from the Interplanar Crossroads, and Peter from Tales from Elsewhere. Check out their links in the description below, of course. And you can further support us and become a part of the ever-growing force known as Avenue Studios by joining our Locals or Patreon community and joining the Kingmaker West March campaign, or by becoming a member on YouTube or Rumble. Doing so not only helps us continue to create high-quality content with all these awesome people, but you can also gain access to our private Discord where you can chat with us, play games, watch movies, and so much more. We haven't done movies in a while, because it's kind of hard to do, but heck,
Time
if you get in
zones.
there and request it, we'll do it. Yes. And don't forget to check the links in the description below. We are using some special music tonight from Tales from Elsewhere, so thank you, Peter, for sharing that with us. And again, all these people's links. And we are on YouTube. We are going to be rating Geeks and Gamers Tabletop. They are playing, I think, in Pathfinder for Savage Worlds, if I remember right. What's today? I can't remember. Anyways, if it's you know what? It doesn't matter what game we're going into. Comment March of the Dragon Cream, because that's our thing now with Geeks and Gamers Tabletop. So stick around just for a second. Give them a like. Give them a comment. And without further ado, we will see you next time. Bye.